Oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to have the actual thing up. I didn't do that. Hi, people. Hello, internet people. It's time for one of the biggest events ever. No, I mean, it's a big event. Look at that. Special guest tonight. Some of you may know her. But first, we have to do the thing we always do when we have a live stream. It's to go like this. I have no idea if that worked at all. But I hope it did. Anyway, welcome to KillCo Whiskey Musings. My name is Brian. Guest of the evening, Irene Tan. Are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Cool. Here we go, everyone. Oh, everything moved.
What?
There we go. Welcome to the show, Irene. Can you hear me all right?
Hi, guys. I can hear you good.
I don't know if I can hear you.
We have an additional guest.
No, I can't.
You can't hear me? Oh. You can't? That's not good. You
I
can
can't
hear
hear
me
you,
before.
Irene. It decided
Oh, boy.
itself. There we go. There we go. I hear you now.
Good. We're good? All right.
Yes.
That's good.
There was a delay or something. Technology is grand, isn't it? I hate it. I hate it and I love it. It's a wonderful thing. What? I have to get back to chat. Oh my God. I know what I'm doing, I promise. So who's your friend? The special guest?
This is Chauncey to join us tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, he wants to steal the show, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
He actually does.
Yes, I often
Sounds
like you
pretty
have
good, huh?
even in your whiskey mentors thing. There's like the cat's there.
Yeah, I mean, he comes invited or uninvited. Uh-oh, he might be leaving. Are you leaving the building? Oh, maybe not. Oh, no, I guess he's giving
No, now I'm taking up more space. Sounds about right. People are here. I will click them in so I can tell them hello. I think I've said hello to most of them, but good God, it's a lot more people than I'm used to already. No pressure. All right.
It's all good.
Oh, God. All right, from the top.
This is why we have whiskey.
Yes. 5 fingers. Welcome, Mama KillCo. Of course, she's the second one in here. Welcome. Mr. Great Shot. Welcome. Oh, there's me. That doesn't count. Slapshot. I'm going to just say all the names at once and then welcome at the end because I can't do the whole once. Slapshot. Mike Franklin. And I have to click on the names. Oh, I haven't used this in so long. Zenbood. Papa KillCo. Mr. Great Shot. Uncle Nate. Cliff Smith. Hello, Cliff.
Yeah.
I know you. Sugar Kitty. Hello.
Hey, Cliff.
Oh, my God. The Brewbaker Maker. Oh, my God. Then I have to clear out in my head who I've already said hello to while I scroll down. Ugh. How do people actually do this all the time? Oh, wait, I do this all the time. Whiskey Mountains. Hello. Whiskey Mountains is another one of the women in whiskey on the WhiskeyTube. She likes to go for walks in some amazing scenery. I believe she's in Utah. I think. My brain doesn't work. My Whiskey Labs. Scott Pigsley. Ugh. Mike Bennett. Hello. Stacey H. Dave Geschke. Wow. How did people... Oh, my God. Tony Two Toes. JJ.
All right. Sit.
He's like, I'm going to bite you.
Go ahead. Sit. There you go. What a good boy. All right. Now you just go
Pinch hitter whiskey
on that side. Camera's on the outside.
Good. I think that's it for now.
Whiskey on... Whoa, whiskey's on that side.
So many names. But what should we pour first? I think I have an idea of what you're going to pour first. I see it right there. I
already did. If you didn't, I already did.
I didn't. I actually haven't opened mine yet. So I thought this was a special occasion to do so.
Okay. Very nice. Yeah, it's probably one of the most popular barrels in the store right now. 5.69. Cute.
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
we're not
Relatively easy to get out there, although this particular bottle you can only get in our store because we liked it so much we bought a whole barrel of it.
Yes, how many? Do you know how many barrels you've bought officially up until this point?
Mm.
Yes, I
Oh
do.
crap! I bought 2 more today, so I think around 60 or so. I'm a little
That's
low
one
on
way to have a
barrels
whiskey
this year, so
collection.
I gotta ramp it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, here's a name.
Yeah, mine's
To
freshly
Anita?
open. I just cracked it a few minutes ago, so.
Yes. Is that a friend of yours? I assume so. I don't know. So many people are here. It's ridiculous. Now, I haven't had a sip of this in a while. I figure I had it at your store, but there's this horrible problem whenever I go to your stores. I have a whole bunch of samples, and I don't always remember what I had. But I feel I've had this one.
So you know what I always tell, I always tell you if you taste it and you like it, go grab a bottle and just set it aside. Put it on top of your own barrel, and then at the end of the day, when you're done tasting stuff, then you kind of know what you liked, and then you can pick from there what you want to get. Because there's just too many things to taste, and it's pretty easy. Once you get past probably the 7th, 8th one, you start to like them all, and they all taste really good. But you don't want to buy them all, although you should. But
Yes. I know you don't have a problem with that when people visit. That's one of the reasons I like to get people there when I can. When I can get there.
Yes, I did find that bottle with Tom's name on it on the shelf. So next time you stop in,
I'll be there soon. I don't know when, but whoa. It smells like a delightful Irish whiskey.
it is. This is really pretty special, which is why I named it what I named it. I called it Felix Felicis. It's pretty much means magical potion, and because most things at 80 proof really aren't very tasty for me. Just because I'm so used to the higher proof stuff. But when they brought me these barrel samples, there were 5 of them, and this one just kind of jumped out at me, and I was like, wow, this really has a good nose. It's a blend of 5 different barrel finishes. I believe there's rum, port, also sherry, and I believe it's a first char and a double char, I believe. So all of that blended into something that's just really delightful, easy to sip, and if you're a Jameson drinker, this will definitely fill the shoes easily.
As well.
And
Spicy.
yeah, a dollar of every bottle goes to the Fighting 69 Battalion, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I had that. Where did I put it? There was a little thing on top. I took it off and immediately put it down. And with my desk, it disappeared.
Oh yeah.
I did see
Yeah,
that.
the literature on it. Yeah. So actually, they gave me a plaque. They didn't give me a barrel head, but they gave me a sort of a kind of poster board thing, and all the battles, and I believe it's on the bottles also. There's actually all the battles they ever fought are on the label. It's pretty neat. A friend of mine from college visited recently, and he knew everything about it. He goes, "Where did you get a barrel like this?" And he's looking at this thing, he's telling me everything about it, all the symbols and pretty amazing stuff. If he could have joined tonight, he could tell you all about the Fighting 69.
I bet.
But that's not all we have for whiskey tonight. But anyway, so what do you think, Brian? This is
It's good.
smells really
They're
good.
always good. I haven't gotten a bottle yet
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, this isn't as good as I thought it would be. But it's like a kicked up Irish whiskey, even though it's only 40%. There's more like spiciness to it, which I think I didn't expect at all.
And also, yeah. Also, kind of a nice roundness on the palate. Also, it's quite. It doesn't feel thin at all. It doesn't have an age statement. But still, for however young it is, 3 years and older, it is pretty tasty.
Yeah, Sugar Katie is delighted that there's actually a cat on the screen right now.
Hey, you, pay attention. Look at the screen over there. No, don't look at me. Look at the other side. Yeah, look at the other
It
side.
actually was for a little while. He was just staring off into oblivion.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a little pissy at me. I'm actually surprised he's joining me tonight because I just got back from vacation today and literally drove home from the airport in Rhode Island, stopped in at 11 o'clock, gave him and his brother some food, ran right back out, back to Rhode Island to dump some whiskey in a rum barrel. So I'm actually very surprised. Usually it takes him a day or so of pissiness before he comes around. So. But he loves being on stage, and usually waits till I put the lights on, and as soon as the lights come on, he's like, "Yep, I know I'm on stage." So, and he usually
Yes.
behaves for the most part.
That must be fun. Uncle Nate, thank you for subscribing. Why I can't even talk. Tipsy Whiskey Shenanigans, hello.
Hmm.
My goodness. Yeah, the cats to forgive you from going away. That's usually what it feels like. Like, I'm going to be near you now. Thank you
Yeah.
for being back. Feed me.
Yeah, pretty much. Feed me, clean me, pet me. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so so very appropriate to do obviously Irish whiskey when you had asked me before to do this. I was like, it's kind of just getting the timing right to do it. So
Yeah,
I was like, well, just back from vacation, no stress. I'm pretty chill. So
that's
very
good.
good night
That's
to
the
do
one
Irish
thing I
whiskey.
want people to have when
Yeah.
they get here. Is just to be a relaxed evening on sipping whiskey and talking about whiskey.
Hmm.
I know.
So what is
What
ever?
do I know? I know
Go ahead.
we officially got acquainted by like Whiskey Tribe originally, and I know you stumbled across that probably around the same time I did. I still haven't gone to the Wizard Academy or anything, but it was very odd coincidence how I just watched this YouTube channel online trying to find out more about whiskey as I just started getting interested in it, and then bam, they talk about how they're going to be landing in Rhode Island, and me just going, what? Going to this event in Connecticut.
Yeah.
Oh, Irene, I lost you again. Can't hear you.
How about now?
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Better? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I think I muted myself. But Daniel had asked me because I can't remember how many people I was limiting to, 75 people, whatever it was, because it was a small venue. And he goes, there's 5 spots left. Can I open it up to the tribe? I'm like, well, heck yeah. And I think that's probably when you kind of heard about it.
Oh yeah, it was instant. As soon as I heard they were going to be like landing in Rhode Island, going to an event, a tasting, it was so weird. I don't know how to describe the way the chaos theory. I think they were talking about that on today's Whiskey Tribe video or Whiskey Vault video, where the odds of all these things happening all at once were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just I still can't imagine what it would have been like if none of this had happened. I'm glad
True.
it did.
Actually, it really is. Me too. I mean, timing wise, it was pretty insane because the day that they filmed the video, my store hadn't gotten the keys to the store yet. Actually, haven't even officially purchased the new store yet. So that's why the video was filmed in my old store. And they're like, sure, it's okay to do that. I go, absolutely. We don't have a choice because I don't have keys to the other place and there's nothing to show for in there. So literally we filmed it in the morning, completely unscripted. They just asked me a bunch of questions and then we just kept going with it. And then while
You
they
guys
went
look like
to
you're having
take a little
fun.
trip around, we actually went out. I went to my attorney's office to sign paperwork so I could actually get the keys to the store. So the party that you ended up in was literally at 4 o'clock. I had just come back from the attorney's office, officially, owning the store and everything, and that's where we did a little shoot on the outside and started the party at 5. This was all supposed to have been done already, at least a month before, but I don't know, some legal snafu or whatever, so it couldn't happen till that day. But we had planned that I think since June, and for it to drag out till October 4th, I think it was. It's pretty insane, but it's all good. It was fun.
Yeah, definitely. I was in the video briefly, like just walking right off the screen. It's like I think Rex was talking to you, and I was right there next to you, like watching. And then I realized he was going to pan over to the store. I was like, I don't know if I should be in the way. It's just I'll just pretend like I'm walking, some random person. It's fine.
Uh,
but it was
That's
nice
really
to get in the
funny.
video
That was awesome. I
unintentionally.
think that was that was a cool event though. I mean, what was like $33 per person for the 3 hour
I was like,
event,
it didn't
and we
matter. Like,
had
it could have been
44 whiskeys.
$100.
Yeah, yeah, no. So the whole thing of it was a kind of a was supposed to be a grand opening thing. But I'm like, yep, $33 just to cover the cost of the food and stuff, and then hopefully donate some money to charity. And so that's how it ended up. Um, so I think we had 44 whiskeys. It was very cool when the distilleries and distributors heard that I was doing this. They're like, hey, do you want us to pour? And that's how it became like. So I was just gonna ask one or two people, but next thing you know, I had like 12 people, 12 different companies wanting to come pour, and I was like, all right, this is pretty neat.
Yeah, there were a
And
lot.
we actually ended up donating, yeah, $900 at the end of the night, for to our local charities. And that was sort of a kind of cool introduction to the town of Canterbury. That, hey, I'm here for business, because literally when we opened our store 2 weeks later, I called them. I go, hey, can you guys come, on this Friday? Because I got a check for you that I'd like to donate. They're like, who? What are you? Who?
What?
And so that was kind of my intro to the town. So
That's a nice
yeah,
way
we
to say
gave money to
hello.
the library, yeah, library, the school, and the volunteer fire department. So it each got $300 each. Not a ton, but it was a little token of to say, hey, we're here, and we're here to do business and like to take care of our town. So
Yeah, I'm sure they wouldn't
that was
complain.
good. Yeah. So anyway, well, there's more than just one Irish whiskey, so I'm gonna move on to my next one
Hmm.
just because I can. So I think, oh dang. So I got three Clonakilties here. I believe you have the Queen's Jam,
Hmm.
which is QSO1. So Clonakilty, kind of new brand, relatively new. They're eventually, I think in 2024, they're gonna actually have grain to glass, their own whiskey, which is pretty exciting. They're gonna make it pretty green, in production wise. Oh, yep, oh, he's tired.
It's
And
made his
so anyway,
appearance.
I like what they do. Yeah, I made actually I met this whiskey for the first time when I was in Florida. Actually, I was down in Florida, hanging out for winter, and as a liquor store owner, it's kind of crazy. When I go on vacation, I visit other liquor stores,
Cool.
just to see what they have.
Don't we all?
And luckily, well, luckily for me in Florida, I can still be pretty anonymous. But anyway, so I walked into this tiny little store, and they had tons of they had bought apparently like a stack of Clonakilty, the standard port cask at I can't remember what the proof is on that, but this is cask strength obviously, and trying to think, it is 57 ABV. So
Yeah, that
a
was a
little
surprise for me.
more yeah, a little more uncommon, obviously, in Irish whiskey world. Most of what we see out there is usually, 40 ABV, maybe 43,
That's the
46.
go-to. That's what a
And
lot of my favorite Irish whiskeys are
yeah,
40%. And I never could find anything
yeah.
else. I think the only one that I did come across was the Redbreast Cask Drink back in 2018, 2019. I had one of those bottles. It was amazing. I have questions for you
Yep, yeah,
before I forget.
sure.
Mama Kilko asks, how did
Yeah.
Irene get into whiskey to begin with?
Yeah. So I'm actually kind of really very, very, very new to whiskey in the
Hmm.
whole big scheme of things. I would say probably 2014, when it was the second year when I had co-owned my Brooklyn store with a partner, and he was a wine guy, and he was like, "Hey, you take care of the brown spirits." So I'm like, "What the heck is that?" All right.
Okay.
So I happened to be working in Massachusetts, Massachusetts at the time. Just a little background story for those of you that don't know. I think those who have already met me already know this is my retirement hobby. I have a day job. I'm actually
Great
a
hobby.
software consultant. So I was working in Massachusetts at the time, and so I said, all right, I'm gonna do brown spirits. I gotta go learn about it. So I went up to a bunch of stores. I would once or twice a week at least. Whoever had a tasting, whether it's Julio's or Gordon's or whatever, I'd go and try and learn as much as I could. And within a year, I think I amassed the entire wall that was in that video. I think I filled it,
That was an
to the
impressive
point
wall.
where yeah, it was pretty. It was very empty when I started. And very quickly I learned that um, what I like and what I didn't like and what actually did taste good to me. And kind of built up my palate as I went along. So and now 2014 till now, so I don't know, 8 years later. Yeah,
Bam. A bunch of barrels and lots of whiskey. That's a nice retirement plan. I got to
yeah,
admit.
lots of barrels.
All right.
Yeah,
Another question is
it's pretty fun.
how much did your fundraiser make last year? I'm going to say which one, but I think he's talking about
Um,
the one that was at your store, the big one where there were so many
yes,
people.
so yeah, after we took our expenses out, we raised $15,000 for our local charities. So that was pretty good. It was about 3 hours of well, way more hours of work before and after, but
I
definitely
bet.
the 3 hours just of the actual event. And a shout out to Cliff, who has helped me in the past with my events. He's been awesome.
Yeah, that's
Um,
one of the perks with Cliff, him being there. It's like, oh, I know this person as well. Good. Instead of just kind of going in, it's like, well, there's Irene, but she's going to be very busy. I get to chit chat with Cliff quite a bit.
yeah, and Cliff being a fellow whiskey som, is really nice to bounce ideas off and stuff, and we do some blind tastings and try to discover new things.
Plans are fun. I need to find a good way to blind
Mm,
myself. Clonakilty Port is another good one. This is Stacy H. I hope to
yeah.
get my hands
So
on
I
all
named
three
it
of
the
these
Queen's Jam.
Clonakilties, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think I still have. Well, they only signed, I believe, the current barrel that showed up. Because the day
mm,
that the Masters showed up, it was a crazy weather day. I was surprised anybody showed up at all, but it was all good. Um,
I
but
wish you could have made it. I
the
really
port one
do.
was the very first one. Hmm. Um. So what happened was actually it was kind of funny when they came to me originally. They brought me samples that proved down to 100. And so clearly they don't know me well. At least they didn't
Mm,
then. And I was like, so I tasted it was a port cask, it was a rum finish cask, and a Rivesaltes, which is a French fortified wine from the Languedoc region. So it's a sweet red wine from France. And when I tasted it, I'm like, man, I'm not really kind of feeling these. The only one that tasted decent enough that I would consider buying is a rum cask. And I was like, hey, do you guys like can I buy it at cash rank? They're like, yeah, well, that could happen. I go, good. So take the samples back and bring me samples at cash rank, which they did a couple months later. And when the three samples showed up, the port cask just jumped right out. It was like so filled with like jammy fruits, which is why, wow, it's got like a boysenberry sniff right there. And
nice.
the rum cast, amazingly, a cast strength didn't taste good. I was like, what the heck, So, and then the third one, the Rivesalti cast, was equally good. They had a lot of nice spices and all kind of the Christmas type spices, which is why I ended up naming it the Christmas cake. So it's funny because Jen, my manager, so we were tasting it together, and I was just like, I like this one, I like this one. I go, well, I said, well, why can't we buy both? And she goes, you always do that. I said, I know. And so somebody has to tell me I can't buy all of them, but so I'm like, well, I think we
Mm,
can buy both. And so what they did for me, which is really nice, is I said, well, I want both, but I don't know how big your barrels are, so can I just do half barrels of both at cast strength? They're like, yep, we can do that for you, and we'll do one better. We'll actually have yours at the current proof, and then we'll proof it down what's left, and then sell it somewhere else to whoever else, not in the state of Connecticut, so that they will get their own single barrel,
that's a good deal.
half barrel, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's
I didn't
pretty
know you could
pretty
even
cool
do
that
that.
they wanted to do that. Most places don't, but they're pretty the newer, so the newer guys are usually a lot more flexible. But they just happen to
Why
like the samples, and
not?
so we can do that. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I did a half a
Wow,
barrel. It's
yeah,
easy.
there's a lot of jammy fruits. Hmm. So anyway,
This one
so I
makes
figured
me
they go, hey, maybe if we
this
go
one
ahead.
makes me think of I don't know what the hell it's called, but it's one of those
Hmm.
vanilla-ish cookies, and it's like a flower shape, and it has this jam stuff inside, and it's just like a smushed cookie
Hmm?
thing.
Hmm.
I don't know what the hell they're called though.
Yeah, that's why I don't know. I've had something like that with like a boysenberry jam in the middle, and that's what I got a note of on there.
Mm-hmm.
But So they say, hey, we want to maybe we could make this a 2 barrel a year program for you. I'm like, sure, I'm more than happy to do that. So as long as I find good barrels, so like if I can't find good barrels, then just come to Ireland. So I'm actually gonna go
Oh,
see them.
yeah,
I
why
haven't
not?
let them know the date yet. Yeah, so I'm probably on my way to before I go to spring break for school in June. I think I'm gonna stop in and see him, stop over a couple of nights, and run through the rick house and see what else I can find for future barrels, because I'd like to at least get them lined up a little bit for the next year and a half or so. So
Yeah,
that would be really
that's on
fun.
my
So that
wish
means
list
I'll
right
be
now is
picking
to go and
another
do a barrel
uh,
tasting.
3 barrels. Yeah, I mean they're real fun to work with. Very very down to earth and no pretenses or anything like that. It's just, hey, this is the whiskey we make, and we'll just go from there.
You
So,
want a barrel? Cool. You
so I
don't? All
liked
right.
it enough. Yeah, 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 exactly. But they had some other samples here after I picked these ones. Like I think I picked this in like March of last year. Didn't show up till just before Christmas. I go, come on, Christmas cake needs to show up for Christmas. And fortunately, it did just show up before Christmas. But just prior to having Christmas cake arrive, they brought me a few more samples. It was pretty funny. They brought 4 different finishes. There was a cognac cask, an armagnac cask, a sherry cask, and another port cask. So they didn't tell me anything about it. I said, I don't want to know the finishes. I just want to taste them and kind of see where we're at. I should just make them low proof to high proof. So the first one, the cognac cask, I actually liked it quite a bit. It had a lot of kind of fresh kind of green apple notes in it. It was pretty interesting, but the finish was kind of short. So I'm like, yeah, no. And the second one, which after, if I had to pick just based on the names, I want or the barrel finishes, I really want an Armagnac cask. But Armagnac cask didn't really do anything for the whiskey as far as I was concerned. I was like, yeah, this is really kind of blah tasting.
Oh,
And the third one was as soon as I tasted it, like, oh, I really like this one. I may know a thing or two about wine finishes. Maybe this one's a sherry cask. And he's like, yep, bingo. I go, well, that's one I want. Tasted the fourth one, and I said, this tastes very familiar, like what I have already. It's, a port cask. He goes, yeah. So being a sherry cask wasn't being too original, as you know. I name all my barrels. So I named
Mhm.
it my Sherry Amore because, I really do love it. So it's pretty cool. Very, very
What I have to
tasty.
do next time
Especially,
I'm there is try them all again, which
hmm
I know it's a horrible thing.
hmm
But there's one I liked better. I think it was the second or the third one. I don't remember which. So I definitely want to get one of those when I'm there.
I think yeah, the second one is Christmas cake. But the sherry one actually is, even though it's, so one's 57.7, this one's 57.1. The
Mm.
sherry cask to me seemed to be the sweetest of all of them and tasted the softest actually. It wasn't as spicy, it was more kind of rounded, sweeter notes. And it's funny because some of my customers who are mostly bourbon drinkers and really don't like Scotch or don't know that they like Irish whiskey tasted the sherry and I go, oh, we really like that. I'm like, good. See, you can't just tell me that you don't like a certain whiskey. When people come and tell me they don't like rye or they don't like Scotch, for me, it's always a
Mhm.
challenge to go, well, I'm gonna fix your ass because I'm gonna find one that you're gonna like, and
It's like,
invariably I do,
really?
and
Well, I
it's
have
really,
50
really kind of
bottles you
fun
can
to go do
try.
that. Yeah.
I do have a couple questions rolling in.
Hmm.
Someone was asking about your
hmm
Garrison Brothers hazmat or a Garrison Brothers hazmat.
Ah, yeah, the hazmat is evaporated in a hurry. Obviously, sold out. Pretty much sold out as soon as I announced it. So that was 146.4 proof. There were only 30 bottles. And that was barrel number 18 from them. Um, Absolutely delicious. I haven't opened my bottle yet. One of my friends bought a bottle and I brought it over to him and he's like, well, we need to open it. And so we
Yeah,
did. And you would think at that proof that it would be, kind of burn the
blow your
heck out of
socks
you,
off.
but it really became just really very, very, I mean, the first sip, obviously, when your palate's not used to it, it's going to kind of wake you up. But by the second and the third sip, you're going to go, wow, this just tastes just very decadent, and just full of flavor and none of that high alcohol. It literally disappears after your first sip. and it's just absolutely delicious. But I'm surprised that actually, I think it's probably sold so quickly because one, it was super high proof, and because I named it Hazmat. But actually, the winter dessert, excuse me, is actually really, really delicious. So I'm glad there's a few extra bottles of it hanging around still. There are 36
Mm-hmm.
bottles, and that's 100, I think 129, 130 proof. So it's no slouch. But just because it's just called winter dessert, people are going, well, I think I need more hazmat. So I'm like, you really need the two. Because what we did was I did open because we had extra bottles, and I took a bottle home, opened up the winter dessert when I brought it to my friend's house. We do what I always do with Garrisons, which is always blend. We taste each one, by itself, and have our comments on what we think of each one. And then I was like, well, now we got to do the blend. So we did, and the blend obviously is always better. It's pretty fantastic. So,
Mm.
yeah.
More questions rolling in. I have a feeling this I know the answer to, but I wanted you to answer it for me. Long shot, but as Irene shipped to California, I am under the impression you don't ship anywhere.
No, we don't ship anything. It's just too many laws, too many hoops I need to jump through, and I'd rather people come see us because we've we're a destination. There's nothing else around us as a
Definitely.
destination, but we are the destination, and
Yeah.
so we prefer that people come out and have the experience of doing tasting with me. So
Mm-hmm. It's good. It's a wonderful experience. That's what I tell people every time. It's like I go to the store. It's an
mhm.
hour's drive away, and I am someone who doesn't like to drive much or be out, or I'm not very sociable, let's just say. So it's a rare occurrence where it's like, all right, I want to keep going to this place because it's a wonderful experience every time, and I want other people to come here. I want people to buy the bottles, so and then we all know, and we can all enjoy these together in some way, shape, or form. Cliff Smith has a question. Big shock. What are some of the smaller, lesser known distilleries that you have found that are making great whiskey?
Hmm. Well, let's see. There's one that is, I guess I can talk about it now. It's not being distributed in Connecticut yet. Um,
Oh god, big reveal.
had a nice conversation, had a nice conversation with Brendan Choate from Lone Elm. Met
Oh,
them
nice.
when I was out at the Bastards Wall. So we started tasting some stuff, and I'm like, hey, this stuff is kind of really, really good, kind of Garrison, brothers like style. And so I said, hey, if you ever decide to come out east, let me know, and we'll see what happens. So he goes, oh, actually, we're already up in Massachusetts and stuff. So I said, well, let me know. So out of the clear blue sky, he called me recently, and he said, hey, I'm gonna send you some samples. So he sent me some of their standard core line, and then one of the cast ranks, and then sent me three sample bottles, of which one was okay, was a little bit too hot, even though the proof wasn't that high. But the other two were really, really good, and especially the very first one, which was barrel number 875. That was absolutely delicious. I feel like they're kind of where Garrison Brothers was maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? They're getting there. They're not as they have all of the right components, but just not so in your face. But very, very, very tasty. I absolutely enjoy it. And so hopefully with a little bit more time in the barrel, it will turn into kind of an in your face kind of whiskey, with a lot of the Texas style bourbon. So
I've only
that's
had a
one I'm
few.
very excited to work with, and of
I've
the
only had a
Lone Elm.
couple of sips of Lone Elm at best,
Yeah, yeah. No, the
and I
samples you
think
sent me was really, really nice. I'm very excited
excellent.
about it.
I love getting. Samples are
Yeah,
fun. I have so many samples myself, not from directly from distilleries, but it's always
yeah.
wonderful to try a whole variety of
Mm-hmm.
things. Sugar Katie says, I think
Yep.
this was about the Garrisons or the hazmat. At
Mm-hmm.
that few bottles
Yep.
what was the small barrel size? What was that a small barrel size?
15 gallon. Yeah, yeah. So they have moved to the 53-gallon format now. But the barrels that I purchased from them, all 18 barrels are 15-gallon barrels. And the
Oof.
hazmat is barrels at a certain area in the rick house that uh, become hazmats because of where they are. So yeah, that's why they're so tiny. Actually, it's still much better yield because I guess they've made better barrels since. My first hazmat from them was my very first barrel, 140.1 or 140.9 or something like that. It was barrel number 3434. That was the first hazmat, and that was 29 bottles, just a little over 4 years old. My second hazmat was barrel number 8, which was barrel number 4001, and that was 146.2 maybe thereabouts. I used to know all of them, but 60 barrels later, it's hard to remember. But
Yeah.
that one only had 16 bottles. I was crazy. That was 16
What?
bottles. I
16?
only sold. Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
So I
I
sold
was
eight
like,
and
she
I
must have said
saved the rest
60.
of
I heard
them.
that wrong.
No, 16 bottles. Absolutely delicious. And that was the one that we featured at my opening at the event
Oh, I can only
when the
hope I
guys
had
came
some of it.
from the vault. Yeah.
Apparently,
Charlie Garrison was there.
some people think you need to open a hotel in Canterbury. Mike Bennett says that.
Yeah, I probably could.
You could.
Hey,
I
Mike.
know. I
Uh,
think it's Bourbon Night, another channel. They've dabbled, or they've
mm,
thrown the idea of a sort of bed and breakfast ish place with this amazing bar that people can stay at.
mhm.
It sounds like a great idea, but holy moly, I
Yeah,
can only
no.
imagine the logistics
Uh,
of that.
yeah.
Irene's
No,
Liquor and
I kind
Inn.
of want to
There you
stick
go.
to. Way too much stress. I'm trying to retire, guys, not make more work for
I know,
myself.
right? It's like, what the hell? I mean, I like having whiskey, but I don't want to run 50 different things. Oh, here we go. Uncle Nate
Yeah,
says you'll
no,
never find a more gracious host than Irene. Everything's available to try. True.
Hey, Nate, how are you? All right, so I'm gonna open my third one. This one, probably one of my favorite green spots, the Lobo Baton Bordeaux finish, and I got to get a new one and see if it's as good as this old one. This one, I think it was in my store in maybe 15 or whenever it was, 15 or 16. Um, it is actually of all the barrel finishes that they have for the green spot, this is my favorite. I like it much better than the Chateau Montelena, but that's just my preference.
You have the fancy green spot.
I still smell
That's
so
what I
good.
call it.
Wow. The fancy green spot. No, I have the regular green spot also.
Yeah, I have the regular green spot. That's the only one I've
Both.
ever had, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. These just came in. Actually, more of these came in, but also more of these just came in a few weeks ago. Whenever it comes in, I try and be really greedy and grab as many as I can. I think there's at least 2 more bottles left on the shelf.
This is one of
God, it
the
smells
few
so good.
things I would have a bunch of. Like, there aren't many bottles that I want to have a lot of. I do accidentally have a lot of Elijah Craig bottles because there are so many different places you can get different types because of the picks are everywhere. I know you've done one a while ago. I don't know if you've done one recently, other than the big one, which no one can get
The
anymore.
ECBP,
Yeah,
the one that
instantly sold
evaporated
out.
almost as quickly as the Garrison. Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's available.
Well, that one will probably so that cast strength Elijah Craig, if people didn't get a chance to get it, if you go to the zoo event, Providence Zoo, I'm doing a charity event with them, a whiskey tasting event, the Thursday before Memorial Day, and that should be
I think I have that
fun.
locked in already on my
So
phone.
that's good.
But I'm definitely going again.
Yeah, that's cool. So we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. We're gonna do 4 Irish whiskeys, 4 Scotches, 4 bourbons, and 4 ryes. Some will be my barrel picks, some won't be. It depends on what of my if my Kalila barrel shows up, it'll definitely be featured. I'm hoping that my rum finish bourbon that we just dumped today will be done by then, and if it is, I'll definitely make a showing, especially since it's being done in Rhode Island. It's kind of cool. There's a Rhode Island thing in a Rhode Island thing, and I really wanted to have it. It's a MGP 21% rye. It's about 5 years old, and they said, well, what kind of cast finish do you want? I said, I want a rum cast finish, and first thing I thought was, well, we'll do a Thomas 2 barrel and keep it all kind of in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah, that'll
But
work.
apparently we don't sell. Yeah, but we don't sell Thomas 2, and they don't sell Thomas 2 to me anymore in Connecticut for some reason. I'm not sure what happened.
I
So
think
then
it
the next
got
best choice,
bought
of
out.
course, was something from the Caribbean.
Thomas 2
Yeah?
is Newport
Okay.
Storm / Newport Craft, right? I'm thinking about that, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
thinking about the other one. Yeah, that's them.
Yep.
Yeah, someone bought
Yep.
the whole thing, and even with I only liked one beer from them. It was like their blueberry one, and as soon as someone else bought them,
Uh-huh.
they changed it. So that was upsetting. But that might be one of the
Yeah,
reasons. I
of
don't even
course.
know if they did it
Yeah.
before, but I know it's one of those
Yeah.
things where the guys got to,
So it's
so
okay.
they were done. Those guys who basically started their own beer brewing thing in college. They worked at
Uh,
building it up, and then someone's like, "I want
wow.
it," and they went,
Hmm.
"Well, okay." That's my
Yeah. Yeah.
understanding of it. I don't know all the
That's cool.
details, but that might be
Um.
the problem.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted a rum barrel. So they said we got something from the Caribbean. So I'm like, fine, doesn't really matter. So we went in and we were supposed to rebuild the barrel. They kind of rebuilt half of it before I got there because I was late coming in today and running about half hour late. Which is okay. All the dirty work was done. I got to do the fun part, which is, watch it get filled and stuff. So we did a little tasting before, in the original barrel, and then we dumped it in the new barrel in the rum barrel, signed it, and I'll post some pictures of it shortly. Just not enough hours today to do all of that yet, but
No, no, this is relaxing time. This is whiskey time. Relax,
mm,
have some sip,
yeah,
enjoy it, talk
yeah,
about it.
yeah.
It looks like someone is asking about the
Hmm.
blue spot. Have you ever tried that? They said it was extremely harsh but tasty.
I don't
She's
know.
like,
I haven't
yes,
had it in a while. We'll find out, which is why I put it
try
out
it.
there. Uh, I bought
Ah,
it a while ago, actually. Yeah, I guess I had a little bit of it. It's 7 years cask strength. What's the proof on it? That's
it's up there.
58.7. Hey, let's see if it
Yeah.
tastes as harsh as my wow. The cork is getting a little eaten alive here.
Okay.
All right, so that's what we do.
Still good.
Hmm. All
That's
right,
one of the few bottles I want to
harsh,
get that
huh?
I haven't yet.
Hmm.
All right. Whiskey Mountains, who is not a tall
Mm.
person, she says she just wants to ride a rum barrel like the dwarves and the Hobbit. That sounds fun. I think you can do that somewhere.
Um. Probably it's not much higher proof than my Clonakilty. And I don't believe, let's see, it's finished in sherry butts, bourbon barrels, and Madeira casks. Um, it does taste a little spikier than than any one of these at 57.7, but that
Mm.
little proof point up shouldn't make that much difference. Potentially, based on what I'm tasting, it might be the Madeira. I'm generally not a huge fan of Madeira finishes. I can usually pick it out and go, I think there's some Madeira in there. It gives it a different kind of funk, and that added to the little high proof kind of little spikiness, but it's still pretty tasty though.
Yeah, I know with the Scotch
Mm,
in particular, when there's certain type of malts, I got a blind recently from Sugar
mm-hmm,
Kitty, and there were a couple of them where that very distinct grain forward, funky, whatever the hell it is, was very prevalent in some of them, and it
mm-hmm,
immediately I'm just like, why? What is that? Make it stop. And I can understand how some people would
yeah,
be put off by Scotch in that case, where they smell
mm-hmm,
something like that immediately. It's like
mm,
that or repeated stuff. They are introduced by that unintentionally, and they just recoil
mm,
from it, like I do with that. I wish
yeah,
I didn't, but it's just cool.
yeah. It, it's not. Yeah, it's like how most people feel about peated Scotch if they don't like, they've never had it. The first Scotch they ever had is, like a Lafroig or Ardbeg, and they're like, oh, that's terrible, and I have to kind of reel them back and kind of convince them that they really should drink some of the peated stuff, and pretty successful with a few people. I think
I'm working on that
I
myself.
feel like from what I'm
A friend of mine,
tasting
friend of mine
components
had
of
that
this that.
happen where he had a joke. It was kind of a joke. They'd been drinking most of the night. A friend who has different kinds of whiskeys came in and like poured him a shot of peated something or other. I don't even know what. And he
Mhm,
took a shot of it and it was not ready for what it was and got sick later because
mhm,
they'd been drinking all night and got that. So I'm
yeah,
gonna start sending him stuff where it's like, all right,
mm,
these are a bunch of different things that are slightly peated. Hopefully you won't recoil
mhm,
from them the way you'd recoil from peated Scotch. And he's also under the impression, or was under the impression, that every kind of Scotch is peated stuff. Trying to dissuade that.
yes. You may have to send him to come see me. So I'm actually gonna do a side by side with so I feel like see the blue spot to me doesn't have as good a nose, and I mean clearly there's a lot of whiskey left in there, so maybe I'm just partial, but I feel like Christmas cake has a way better nose. I will say though, Christmas cake does taste a little bit younger. Um, but there's so much else going on that it makes it really, really interesting. Um, if if I had a choice to do this with a blend, I probably would use more sherry and maybe more ex-bourbon and leave or maybe leave the Madeira out of it totally, or just a little hint of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I go back to it to taste it, I get more and more Madeira out of it, and I'm just partial to not liking the Madeira as much. So yeah, I'll use it in cooking, but I don't know.
Yeah,
In
and
the
you do have a
finish of my
wine
whiskey,
background
not
too,
so fond
right?
of it.
Specifically.
A little bit. Yep.
Uh,
Oh, so of course we're gonna blend them because then maybe it'll taste a
do
little
it.
bit better. So we'll see.
It's one of the fun things to do with
Ooh,
whiskey
it's
is
got
mix
better
them around.
nose.
Hey, his palate does.
Mm. Mm. Yeah,
No,
no, the Madeira's still coming through for me. So don't
yeah,
do that.
no. In my case, a lot of times I mix something together and it just falls apart. Cliff Smith has another question for you.
Mm.
He says, Irene, do you have
Sure.
any new
Yep.
barrels or projects in the works that you can talk about? We continually see
Yeah.
interesting posts on your Facebook and Instagram. We did talk about one earlier, but I don't know if there's anything else.
Yeah, actually, so there's a few different projects. Going back to Cliff's first question about some of the smaller distilleries. One of the ones I'm actually working with is Laco and Company, Aspen Age Rye. So the second barrel pick I picked for the state of Connecticut showed up. Um, and we've done really well with it. It's a whiskey that you actually really have to love rye or love interesting, kind of a little bit more offbeat kind of whiskeys to enjoy. I like to describe them to their delight, that they will become, if they keep doing what they're doing and they do it right and keep me in the loop, obviously, um,
Hmm.
they will become the garrison of ryes, because
No.
what they do is they buy, MGP 95.5 rye, and they age them for 4 years in New Oak barrel, and then they take this aspenwood discs that they cut themselves. Crazy people, I love them for that. Then they kind of air dry them for 12 months or more. Then char them on their toast and char them on their Weber grill, and then dunk them in this inert vessels and let
Grill.
it rest in there for anywhere from 6 to 8 to 9 months. And because the aspen wood is too soft to make a barrel with. That's why they have to do it that way to get the
Ah.
flavor. And it's part of the kind of the birch family. So you get a little piney, but also a lot of kind of birch beer type notes in it. Very, very interesting. I mean, it's one that you pour, kind of half ounce, an ounce, and you taste and it kind of explore as it opens up a lot of flavors. So that's
Hmm.
another distillery I'm kind of working with, because while I was out there last year, it's July 15th, certain things just kind of stay in your mind. I also got a chance to dump one of the rye barrels into a wine barrel, the ex Barolo barrel. So
Ooh.
we got a chance to have some of the Barolo wine before we, dump the whiskey in it, and that's sitting in there. So it's been since July of last year. So it should be hopefully by this April or May be ready for me to do something with it with them. Not sure what yet. We
Figure
may
it
we
out as we
may
go
create
along, as
them
always.
there on Snowflake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're gonna do a blend. I think if they have enough barrels of cask strength, I'm gonna help them maybe come up with a blend that is gonna be distillery release only. And also obviously at Whiskey Mentors will be the only place
Mm-hmm.
we'll get any at all. So that'll be fun to play with. I'm not sure time frame wise when I'd have time to go out there and do that, but that's one of the things that's on my plate. And then more recently, Cliff and I actually had a fun adventure up in the Boston Harbor Distillery, also craft small distillery.
Mm-hmm.
Rhonda Kelman, we had blast up there. We brought my Leisure Craig barrel that somebody asked, is that barrel for sale? Like, oh, no, it has plans. It's got plans of its own. So we took it up there and we tweaked they have a gin that I'm hoping they'll come into Connecticut soon. But we took that base recipe and we tweaked it and added a little bit more of the botanicals that I felt like I wanted to have in this barrel aged gin to sort of complement the taste from the Ledger Creek barrel. So hopefully, when I don't know if they've made that gin for us yet, But when they do, then they're just gonna sit in there for a while, probably do a few visits to taste along to see how far along they are and when we can release it. Hopefully in the winter as a barrel aged gin that you make Negronis with or sip. So very, very
Yeah.
excited about that one also.
Cool.
And
Cool.
so I don't know who else. Who else am I working? Yeah. So so in
I
other
have another
barrels that
question
I,
for
I
you.
actually finally can talk. Sure. Okay.
Before we go on, do you think Blue Spot is different because it was
Yep.
cast strength to appeal the American whiskey drinkers? That was a question by the Mash Bill, another WhiskeyTube channel.
Um. Well, I don't know. I mean, this is Redbreast has the 12-year cast strength, which I absolutely enjoy. And maybe because it's a little bit older and it is Redbreast, it tastes pretty damn good. Yeah, possibly. I think they might have done it for that reason, because we do tend to like the higher proof stuff here.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
I don't
becoming
know.
a
Maybe
theme.
they should have just made it yeah, but I'm just not a fan of most Madeira finished whiskeys. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what's kind of off-putting to
Everyone
me.
has
But
their
of
own little
course,
thing.
but believe yeah, I believe this one is yes, this one is not Madeira. That's why it's a Malaga, which is slightly different. Another wine finish. I do like the yellow spot a lot, but this just came back from Florida today with me.
Red Spot.
I couldn't get one here in my store. Yeah, the red spot, the 15 year. I haven't had it yet because and it's only 46 ABV. So this
Mm-hmm.
is look at that. This one is Marcellus, so should be interesting. It's crazy that I had to go all the way to Florida to buy myself a bottle because I only got
That
one in
is a
my
little
store and I sold
crazy.
it right away.
I know I got
Yeah.
one 2 years ago. Was it 125, something like that? And it was at the nearby store. I was
Mm.
very fortunate.
Mm-hmm.
And also, Uncle Nate asked, "Did you finally take
Mm.
that Bemore 21 home?"
No. Do I have some more?
The
Was that the
Bemore
question? Do I have
21.
some more of the Bowmore?
I don't know. I don't know. He's like,
Yep.
"Is it still
No, I had no
there?
more.
Because I might want to visit," kind of thing. That's good though.
Um, no, there's no more Bowmore 21. You bought the
Oh,
only
boo.
one I have. But there's a Bowmore 27 that's coming. I've
Hey,
got a couple of, there's only 12 bottles in Connecticut, and I have two of them. So I like this one. This is really nice. So it looks like it's almost the same. Let's see, ex-bourbon, sherry, and Malaga. Alrighty. So it's like the yellow spot, but 3 years older.
there you
Cool.
go.
Because I do like the yellow spot.
I plan to
Oh
have
no,
all of
this is
them at some
Marcella.
point with
This
the
is
spot
Malaga.
stuff.
Slightly different.
That's one of my little like
Yeah.
quirks in
So
my
yeah, no,
head.
this
Is
is
like you have to
Marcella
get them all
versus that.
someday. Ugh.
Hmm. Um, but
Upstate
back
Ace
to
likes Red
Cliff's
Spot.
question. So yeah, the when I was in Florida, it was kind of a joke. I couldn't talk about it, and this I still can't talk about why I can't talk about it, but I'll tell you about what I bought.
That's always
So
fun.
just before I left before I left for Florida, I got offered 5 different samples of rum from plantation rum, and all single barrels, single casks, and they were from. Let's see, there was one from Australia, one from Barbados, one from Jamaica, um, and I can't remember the other two. I guess they weren't memorable enough. But anyway, so ended up buying the one. I really wanted to like the one from Australia just because it's so different. But it was just didn't have enough. So anyway, I ended up with the one from Barbados. So I brought the little sample bottle with me when I was down in Florida. And when I took a picture of it on the beach, and it was really crazy waves out there. The wind was insane. So one day it was like 25, blowing, gusting to 30. So it threw up some really crazy waves out in the water. So I said, oh, I could like, pretend that I'm in Barbados. So what I wrote was sometimes you have to get to the source, but I did not say where the source was. I let you assume where you think the source was. Just because it's
There
from
you go.
Barbados doesn't mean that I had to go to Barbados. So the source was the right person in Connecticut who had the right barrel samples for me. So
Yeah.
I was having
There
some
is
fun.
another question. Mike Bennett, any more Daft Mill
Hmm.
coming down the pike?
No, I keep asking in this. None, none, none.
There's no.
That Daft Mill was it was so delightful. that was a nice little surprise because I love Lowland whiskey just because it's I don't know. I mean, other than Auchentoshan, which it's the only one that's most common out there. The most of them have been mothballed, so hard to find. So when I uh Saturday nights and Sunday nights, when if I'm not sleeping, I usually kind of look through the beverage journal and I see what else is new out there. Because a lot of my sales staff, they have no idea what they have because new stuff shows up all the time. So I don't wait for them to let me know. So I usually kind of do my own homework. So when I saw this, I said, well, scotches from Lowlands, just for ha-has, hoping to find a rose bank or something. And sure enough, the Daffodil showed up. So I bought, I think bought 2 bottles initially. Yeah, opened it and tasted it. I was like, holy crap, this is amazing. So I bought quite a few bottles after that, but all sold out. Anytime anybody got a chance to taste it, they're like, oh yeah, that's good. So, but
Those
very
are the
excited
best and the
about
worst.
the Kalila that's coming from yeah, exactly. That's coming from Douglas Lang. Called the Smoking Gun. It's and there's a story behind that. We'll tell that story when the barrel arrives, if it arrives. And it will be a QS1 because my first barrel that I picked from them got trashed and I rejected it.
Oh
But
yeah, is that
55.5
the one
proof.
where the proof got messed up somehow? Something happened with it.
Yeah,
That horror
yeah,
story.
yep, yeah,
Oh, another
yeah.
question. Stacy
It
H
still
says.
smelled relatively good.
Stacy H says, "What do you think about Waterford? Waterford? Blah.
What Waterford?
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think it's Irish.
Don't
I'm
think
not
I've
sure.
heard of Waterford. Irish?
I think I've heard
Hmm.
of it, but I
Nope,
couldn't tell you
haven't had
why.
it. Yeah. Huh.
All right, what else?
When I think of
Bring
Waterford,
on
I
the
think of
Kalila, says
crystals.
Cliff.
Huh. Yes. And it's 12 years old versus 8, so it should be a little bit more hopefully a little more rounded. Although I definitely loved the earth. That was just delicious.
Okay. I tell
Yep,
you,
I like the
Irene, you
50.
being here makes
Not
chat
sure I like the
very
price of the
interesting for me.
50, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I'm
like,
glad.
okay, I got to check every single question that's coming through. Ah, I like it, though.
All right.
Keep me on my toes.
Actually, one of my other favorite Irish, I know this was not on the list you and I talked about, is the Dingle. This
Oh,
is
there's a
batch
list.
4. I
Grab
don't
what
know
you
when batch
want,
5
just
is
like the
coming out, but
store.
yeah, it's kind of like the store around here too. Maybe a
Yes.
little bit
It's a
less,
little bit
but
like it.
uh, so this is 46.5. Uh, Bourbon, sherry, and port cask. So that's music to my ears.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so we've got a fun project in the store currently. One of the guys is called crap. I said I was going to remember, and now I don't. But
That's
once
my
I post
life,
it, I'll say
Irene.
who it's
That's a
from. But
constant for me.
eh.
I'll remember 2 hours later. What was
So
I supposed to remember?
it's like groovy stuff for guys or guy groove stuff or something like that. But anyway, the owner reached out to me and said, "Hey, maybe you could, I see you're into all this whiskey stuff, and maybe, we have glasses." And I'm like, "Look, I got my own glasses. These are my favorite glasses, and I don't need glasses. I have no room to showcase them anyway." But he had all these little mini barrels like this one over here. So he goes, "Hey, how about if I, make one, I'll engrave it for you, and whatever you want to say." So it says Whiskey Mentors on it. It's pretty cool. So he sent me a kit, and I said, "What else?" He goes, "The only thing I asked is that you kind of talk about it or whatever it is," which I will. So what I'm gonna do with it is I'm actually going to do one of my favorite things is make a barrel aged Manhattan.
Ooh,
So I'm not
you did that
sure what
before, right?
what rise. I do it with this all the time, and a couple of times I've lost a few bottles of whistle pig because one of my damn cats just ran over, knocked the spigot over, and then this thing just drained out of there, and it's not a happy camper. So at the store it's a little bit safer. Oh, maybe not so safe because if customers come, they're gonna want to
Hey, you
taste it
want to
and
try some?
maybe
It's in a
go as
barrel. Look,
quickly.
it's great.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping to do a barrel aged Manhattan and probably do it maybe 4 to 6 weeks before I do a cocktail series, or at least a cocktail kind of a cocktail hour, cocktail class kind of thing. I used to do it at my other store. Every other Friday night, I pick a base spirit, and then I would make 6 cocktails, everything fresh, from scratch. If it
Mhm.
needed fresh mint, I'm in the yard, digging up the mint and dirt and all
Got some.
coming
Hold
to
on. Give
the.
me a second. Ah, there. Use that. I do have another question from Stacy H. She's talking
Yep.
about Waterford, I believe. It's an Irish whiskey Mark Rayner owns
Hmm.
it, and it's controversial, young and pricey with a focus on terroir.
Huh. Interesting. I'll have to go
Got
hunt
more
down
research
bottles.
to do now, Irene.
Yeah, definitely. Well, maybe I'll ask about it while I'm in Ireland also, and perhaps then
I'm
I can get a
jealous.
bottle there.
I don't travel much, and I have yet to go anywhere out of the United States other than Canada, and that's it. So I do have my passport now. It's in the books.
Excellent.
It's something to do eventually, but
Cool.
part of me is
That's
like,
good.
oh, flying over the ocean. What could go wrong?
Hmm.
Oh, this will be
Uh,
great. I love
uh,
Ireland.
spe Speaking of Canada, nice segue. So it's funny. One of those pictures I posted while I was on vacation was I was kind of out walking around. And ran into a woman who was walking around. So we took a walk together, meet new friends. She doesn't drink. She loves to bake and make awesome jams and stuff. And somehow when I meet people, the subject of whiskey always comes up. I don't know why. And so I said something about, I had a liquor store and I, kind of specialize in whiskey and stuff like that. She goes, "Oh, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but my husband will probably be really pissed. But he makes his own moonshine." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Because I'll give him some for you to taste. And so he proofed it down to 120, just in case it's too high proof for whoever. And that was a picture that I took. It was really really good. He's been experimenting with it for a little while, and he's got a bunch of different recipes that he uses. So he gave me a mason jar full of it. So tasted it, and I wanted to return the favor. So I'm like, oh, what do I have this high proof? Because I'm not at my store, I'm not at home, so I don't have all of my barrel picks. But one of the few trips back, I did buy a bottle of the Alberta Premium, the Whistle Pick
Oh,
Source.
I have one of those. That's less than
Yeah,
10.
so yeah, absolutely delicious. I love that. I have a bottle here. I have about 3 bottles down in Florida. So I kind of filled his jar with the Alberta Premium, brought it back to him. I said, well, just so this is a little higher proof than what you gave me. It's 132. Took a sniff. He goes, smells good, and he tasted it. He goes, oh, it's really good. And just in conversation, turns out he was originally from Alberta. So it's like
Ha,
stuff happens.
nailed it. Got it. You have
Hmm.
Canadian whiskey smiths here. Also talking about Waterford. They say they're doing some interesting things. The single farm releases and distinct are distinct. Personally, though, I prefer that Gaia blends. Gaia blends?
Hmm. Hey,
Yeah,
Teresa.
I swear that Whiskey Tribe did a video on that when they ended
Yeah.
up with Waterford.
Waterford,
There was
huh?
a lot of talk
Huh.
about terroir. It was like their big thing. So
Yeah.
they can
I
actually document where they were. I don't know if that's the one I'm remembering, but it was interesting to hear about terroir and all that
Yeah, I
crazy
mean they
that
don't
goes along with it.
they until recently they've never talked about terroir for whiskey, but that's definitely terroir for whiskey. And also seasons, right? The grains, whether they get harvested in the spring or the fall. Because I know Springbank does that, right? They have like the local, local barley, and spring harvest versus fall harvest, and winter wheat. Um, or winter rye versus rye the rest of the year, it definitely makes a difference. I mean, we see it I mean, fine example of terroir is, Garrison Brothers, right? I mean, it's crazy how in the few short years, and including the small barrels, that
They've blown
it
up.
can have, yeah, it can get the flavor it can get. Oh, so the other fun thing while I was away too is I do have quite a few barrels coming up. I start counting the new ones this
Just a
year.
few. Just a
So,
few more. Non-stop,
so
Irene. Oh, another.
uh,
Just two more. Let me buy three of those. I mean, no, I should probably no three. It's fine.
So those of you who were with me from the beginning and were lucky enough to get a bottle of the not the Widow Jane, that is still in the works. I'm still working on that one. But I know that was I think the first November when my barrel of Kings County showed up and sold out in a month, alongside the
Come
Whistle Pig
on.
number on a cask. So I just got a call. I was on vacation. I should go on vacation more often. I got a lot of really cool phone calls of things that people want to do with me, and so
We just talked to
apparently
them
in the
while on the
next
beach. That's the key right there. You're very relaxed.
exactly,
Hey, man, what's up? I'm just hanging out by the water. It's fine.
yeah. So there will be another Kings County bourbon barrel pick for me
Nice.
um over New York. I still get first dibs on it, which I'm so psyched about. That's pretty crazy.
Booyah. We have another question from My Whiskey
Yep.
Labs. That I know I'm on I follow your Instagram. I follow you pretty much everywhere. And I see some of the food you have and just salivate immediately. But they're asking, can we get some of her favorite food pairing suggestions with Irish whiskey? Oh, that's a tricky one.
That is a tricky one. So actually, prior to buying my Irish whiskey barrels, honestly, I didn't really care for that much Irish whiskey, I mean, other than a red breast. So I haven't done that much with it. I kind of feel maybe more desserty stuff. I haven't really tried it with a ton of food yet, but potentially for me, probably not beef. Maybe more pork would work with it. I think a pork chop or a pork loin might go quite well with the Queen's Jam, right? Because it's got all of those kind of the fruits, and you can maybe make a little reduction sauce with some of that whiskey. A little expensive to
Yeah,
do it that way,
it's
but
a
that
kicker
would be pretty
too.
nice.
Just the
Yeah.
high proof itself makes it kind of
Yep.
fight into whatever food you're having. It's like, oh, it's pork, huh? Yeah, there. We're
Yeah,
pairing
but
now. You shut
yeah,
up. You're the pork.
I think it's sweet enough to be able to pair with it. The sherry, the sherry's on the sweeter side too. Um, Maybe something chicken might work. I don't think any of it works with fish because I'm not getting um like with fish, something from Isla for me seems to kind of pair quite well, or maybe a little bit of Highland stuff.
I thought teriyaki
But
chicken, and I have no idea why.
yeah, actually that might work. Actually, the sherry and the teriyaki might
No
work.
idea.
Yeah,
You said chicken. That was just the first thing that came to mind, and I don't
yeah,
know why. My brain
yeah.
doesn't make sense. It's fine.
It probably works better with bourbon though, I think. I mean,
Yeah, lots of things work better with
yeah,
bourbon.
yeah, I definitely have my preferences. It's just
Yeah,
pretty
we got
funny.
peated Irish and sweet barbecue sauce would be yummy. That's an idea. Thank you,
That'd
Stacey.
be good. Yeah, yeah. The Connemara should be pretty nice.
Connemara.
Yeah.
Another question.
Yep.
How do you feel about the tealing? Got some pot still from my boss. We absolutely loved it. My favorite Irish for sure.
Yes, I wish I could get more of it. When we had the Brooklyn store, I think it was the first few people I read up on what when tealing came about, and I kind of like what they did. Loved the rum cast finish that they came up with in the beginning. Why I don't have any tealing on my shelf right now is a good question. I
Mm,
will get some on my shelf
I only have a
because I do
small
like those.
batch
Yep.
back there.
Mm-hmm.
Another question was, I think you just answered it almost. Older tealings seem to be seeing some great
Yeah.
additions in my area, 15 and 16 year with fun finishes.
Haven't seen any of that offered to me right now, but
Hello, Cat.
I
Welcome
will.
back.
Hey, what's up? Huh? Got bored? Huh?
Feed me.
Got bored with attacking your brother? Well, turn around this way. Come here. Over here. So you guys see, this is what we do. All right, sit. Sit. Hey, sit. Go on. Good.
It's like I was going to
And look
sit
in the
anyway.
yeah, look in the camera. Okay, good. Don't turn around. Look at me. No, don't look at me.
What?
It's over
Look
here.
at you. That's all I heard.
Don't look at me. Just look in the camera. So this is
Water from
how it
Benno's.
happens.
Key lime pie. I want key lime pie now. What the hell?
Key lime pie. Yum.
I know.
Damn, I should have gotten
I
some when I
was
was
like,
down
what?
there.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
Mm.
Tealing 13-year single grain is awesome, says Stacy H.
I'll have to see where I can get me some. I don't see a lot of tealing out there actually. Um,
I don't
so
either,
for
not in my
me,
area.
yeah. So for me, what I do end up getting depends on what distributor carries it. Um, and I am not one to go me. I am so important. You need to give me this, right? I go seek out the stuff that I want and then make them bring it in. But some of the being that I'm a single store and tiny still, I don't always get the stuff that's allocated that's out there, even though I
Yeah.
think I should, but I
You know,
don't
just
ask
tell
for
them,
it.
like, I am massively popular online. I have a huge following. People come from all over the globe for me. Give me give me the damn whiskey.
Yeah.
Speaking of, we have a question from Whiskey Wars. What is
Yep.
your least favorite question in the store outside of do you have Blanton's?
Actually, I don't really. I mean, I field all questions. I don't really, say I hate when
Nothing really
people
sets
ask
you
me
off. It's
whatever.
like, I'm I don't
Nah.
have it. Leave me alone.
Yeah, no, because I almost don't even hear that question because if it's something I don't have, invariably I'm like, but you can have this. Want you to try
I,
this? And then,
all right, I don't have this one, but
yeah,
however,
yeah.
well, that's good.
Oh,
I
yeah.
can understand
It's,
that. I always
yeah, I
feel
mean, a lot.
bad about going into a place and asking questions sometimes because I know a lot of the people who work in general
Hmm.
retail liquor stores are just like, what?
Yeah.
Just go
What are you
look at
talking
the
about?
good
Yeah.
case thing. Go look at the one with the glass. We lock it.
Yeah.
Go look at that. Leave me
Ooh.
alone.
Yeah, I think probably when people come and go, well, this is why I like to drink, and like what else is like Blanton's? I'm like, so it's actually kind of funny that you brought that up because somebody actually had come to my store, recommended by one of my friends, and she's like, well, I always drink Blanton's because that's the first thing I drank. I'm like, oh, I said, well, there's other whiskeys other than Blanton's you should try. And as soon as she tried my Jefferson's pick, she's like, this is
Mm.
freaking way better than whatever the hell I was talking about. I don't need that anymore. But prior to that, she told me that she had bought two bottles of Blanton's for $120 each. And all I said was, ouch, man, you could have 4 bottles of my Jefferson's Reserve. And there's only 6 bottles
Yeah.
left of it. When I came back to the store today, I was like, holy
Oh
crap,
shit.
who's been selling that? And the whistle pick has been moving right along too. So,
I'm glad I have one in
um,
reserve then.
ooh, that smells good, doesn't it? Yeah.
We have another comment. We'll say, I haven't read it all, but ever since Bacardi took on the international distribution of Teeling, our offerings have dried up significantly. But at least we're
Yeah.
seeing store release single cast pretty regularly in the last year.
Well, I may have to go talk to them. Actually, the
You
other
got a
one
long
that
list, I'm sure, of people.
the Glendalough is one of my other kind of favorite smaller producers. They do make some nice stuff. Um, and I'm pretty sure I believe the last time I talked to Donald, I think he said there was gonna be a single barrel program pretty soon,
All
which
right.
then should mean that I hopefully will be the first barrel buyer in Connecticut. When we make that happen, that would be awesome.
No. Bourbon, what the hell? You were very late. But that's all right. Good to see you, sir. Oh, there
All
we go.
right.
Whiskey Wars says that answer is exactly why Miss Tan should run all liquor stores. Jealousy increasing.
Yeah, no, it's only a hobby. Don't forget.
Yeah, this is your retirement plan. Glendula is
It
actually
is.
something I have a bit of a fondness for. I've heard about the 7-year Mizunara. I have the
Yep.
13-year. I think I have
The
two bottles of the
13,
13-year,
yes. Yep.
oddly enough.
Hmm.
And thanks to a certain generous person whose name might start with Tom, I have was it the 17? I don't even remember the box, the big box back there of a Glendula. I think it's 17, but I don't remember. I can't open it for a while, unfortunately.
Yeah, I haven't tasted the 7 because it just showed up, I think, in my store recently. I may have tasted it at a. No, actually, no, I didn't. I have tasted the 17. I think we did it at the charity event. Has a lot of very tropical pineapple kind of notes in it, I believe, if I
Yeah,
remember
that was the
correctly.
fun thing about Mizunara. It changes Irish whiskey completely. Like you wouldn't even know
Yeah.
if someone didn't tell you,
Yep.
yeah, this is an Irish whiskey finished in Japanese oak. Oh,
Hmm.
Bourbon, who you do know, you've met Ben in person.
Yep.
He
Hmm.
says Irene is an extremely dangerous woman to my wallet. True.
Yeah.
True story.
I steal money from you legally.
Yes,
Hey,
basically.
but
It's
in exchange, I give you good whiskey. So,
exactly. You wouldn't spend the
hmm.
money if it wasn't good stuff. That's what I like to think. And that's
The other
really the
Irish
key
whiskey.
behind whiskey in my head is you don't want to. You don't want people to spend money. I think you said it in the Whiskey Tribe video is that you want people to buy
Hmm.
whiskey they
Hmm.
enjoy, not necessarily buy
Yes,
it because of a fancy bottle or you heard about it. You know, the hype. You don't want
exactly.
people to follow the hype. You want people to follow the taste.
Yes. So I just came to grab my very first. It's funny when my store first opened, I was all about buying bourbon and rye barrels, which I know well. In my other store, I didn't have a Scotch barrel, which I thankfully do now. and also have a Irish whiskey crowd. So this was when Castle Brands owned the Hook Castle. So it came to me at like we were letting people buy quarter barrels. So it's only about 60 bottles, and
Oof.
so it's a 12 year, which I call it an orchard stroll because it is very easy to sip. I think it's 92 proof, I
Some
believe.
people seem to recognize that.
Yeah,
You got Mike Bennett here. The
yeah.
Ocean Stroll.
Yes. Yeah, it's very tasty. So this was yeah, that's nice. This was the bottle that started my my Irish whiskey barrel buying spree.
Oof.
Mm, wow, that's tasty. Ooh, that's really tasty. I mean, it's not, like a super huge complex kind of thing, but for what it is for $50, I think that's what we sold it for. That was a pretty good
Hmm.
deal for a 12 year.
How many of those were there? You said
60 bottles.
Phew,
So,
that's rough.
mm,
Good, but Jesus.
yeah,
Oop.
that's pretty tasty. Good.
Ben is driving back from the
Must be.
pharmacy. He's dried up from Madness. Oh
All
yes, and
right. Oh,
Pinch Hitter Whiskey Lounge Siren Store is dangerous for your wallet and your liver.
there was
Thankfully, you
that.
can
Yes.
drink plenty of water, and there's a restaurant right next door you can eat at. You're fine.
This is true. This is very true. So yeah, so speaking of liver, when I was doing the advent calendar for the zoo, uh, that was my liver paid for it because
Uh,
it was I if you know me, you know that I am a little bit of a stickler to having a really clean palate when I do my tasting notes. Because by the end of the day, like now, I can pick out certain things here and there, but I don't smell and taste the things I taste first thing in the morning. So
mm,
for 24 days, I started with pretty much a brand new bottle every day of the whiskey of the day. Write my notes, and then after I did all my work for the day, at about 2, 3 o'clock or thereabouts is when I would kind of film that little 1 minute video. And it was all good and fun till about I think probably day 5 or 6 or so when I was just dragging ass. And I'm like,
yeah.
what the heck is going on here? Why am I feeling like crap? I'm not working any harder. I'm doing my exercise. I'm playing pickleball and having fun. And why am I dragging ass? I'm like, you idiot. The first thing in your stomach every day is, in your liver is high proof alcohol.
Yeah.
So I couldn't wait for the 24 days to be over so I could get a break from it. But now this year I'm doing it smarter. So as my barrels come in, a weekend or two later, I do my tasting notes, file it away somewhere in the clouds so that I'm sure I'm gonna do another advent calendar this year, and
Mm-hmm.
then I'll have my notes ready. I'll just have to have my co-host show up on
There
cue.
you go. I know in my case, I didn't. I done advent calendars. I know this year, or sorry, last year. Oh God, was a Flaviar thing because Mama KillCo
Hmm.
slash my mother, obviously, she bought that Flaviar
Oh, very
Whiskeys
nice.
of the Galaxy. So I got to try a whole bunch of random stuff as of last
Oh, cool.
December.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was going in very not necessarily pessimistic, but I wasn't getting my hopes up for anything. But there were a few
Hmm.
interesting ones. I
Yep.
think I had I think it was an Israeli whiskey in there, and then I had an Australian one,
Ah.
which was just I was like, wow, I
Hmm.
didn't even know that was a thing.
Uh,
Apparently,
was
so
it
a couple of good ones in
Starward or
there that
something like
surprised
that?
me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that
something
was
like that.
yeah, that's the Starward. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping they'll um get a little more age to that one. I just spotted another Irish whiskey I'm gonna reach over for.
Good.
Um, oh, let's see what do we got here. This is the 13 year Glendalough. Just
Apparently,
the regular 13 year.
Whiskey Mountains, who does a lot of hiking in the mountains, clearly, obviously, and she says she did an early hike once for a video and was drinking at 8 a.m. Never again.
No, this is a 6 a.m. thing usually. Whenever it is, I roll out of bed. I do a couple hours of work, and then I go, okay, time to do whiskey tasting. So it's usually around 6:30 or so.
Ugh.
Actually, speaking of whiskey in the morning, I don't never need an excuse to drink or whatever. But I was flying back from on Southwest, and somewhere along the way, I got upgraded to business, so I got my free drink, and I'm like, yeah, do I really need a drink? Not really. but they hadn't been serving any
Yeah,
alcohol
they're serving
on the
again.
flights at all. They're serving again. So they go look
Nice.
at the menu. I'm like, yeah, what could they have? Like Jim Beam or Jack or whatever. And sure enough, they had some Jack, and then in a little corner there was a Wild Turkey 101, which is one of my kind of go-to, very I tell people that's a good whiskey you just have, right? I mean,
It's
it's
a
a good
staple.
daily kind of whiskey. Exactly. So I had a bag of I don't like to go to airport eateries. The bars are fine for the drinks, but
That's
not
usually
so
what I
much
try
for the
to do.
food.
Find a decent bar
Yeah,
in the
because it's
airport.
just yeah, but it's early in the morning. I had a 7 a.m. flight, so it was
Oof.
McDonald's had a line wrapped around the building.
No.
Starbucks had. So I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. So I always just bring my own. So I had a bag of bacon that I had just made the night before, and
Nice.
so the bacon and the Wild
Travel bacon.
Turkey
I love it.
101 was perfect. So it was funny when I ordered my drink, the stewardess goes, on ice? I'm like, no, neat. She's like, really? She looked at me like, yeah, you sure? I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
Comes in a little
Don't
plastic
question
cup
me.
thing, and
You
yeah.
heard me.
So it was pretty funny because I had a little service dog that was sitting next to me, and the owner could not figure out why he couldn't get the dog to behave because the dog could smell the bacon in my pocket.
Oh, I bet.
And I
Yeah,
forgot I forgot I had bacon in there, and he kept sticking his nose on my lap, and I'm like, oh, I see, I think I know what you want. But anyway, so I had whiskey at must have been 8 o'clock this morning. But
that
yeah,
was.
the Wild Turkey 101 went very well with the bacon.
Oh hell yeah! That's one of my go
Mm.
tos. I love having the rare breed, especially. And
Mm-hmm.
the one kind of drawback, or at least unfortunate incident because of everything over the past years, was them taking away the drinks because that was my little treat to myself. It's like I'm on a freaking plane. I am so
Mm-hmm.
high in the air. I'm gonna have a drink. I just need one drink just to. It's just a treat for myself to get through this. It'll
Mm-hmm.
help me sleep.
Yep.
Just get me to make sure I don't think about the fact that I'm just high up in the air. But once they took that away,
Ah.
it was just pretend to be unconscious half the time. You see them
Mhm.
coming down the aisle, giving you peanuts and pretzels. I'm just like, nope, leave
Yeah,
me alone. I'm not
exactly.
here.
Yeah, no, don't need that. Don't need that. Don't wake me. I usually fall asleep as soon as they turn the engines on. So.
I've had that happen a couple times now, especially over the last year, where early flight and we get there, and I'm just done. I
Mm-hmm.
get there, I sit down. They're talking about where this is what happens in case of emergency. This is how you buckle your belt. I'm like, thunk. Done. And then I wake up, we're
Mm-hmm.
halfway there. It's like, oh, all right, cool. This is fine.
All right, we're running out of room for whiskey here.
Bacon and Port Charlotte.
Um,
That sounds pretty good, Uncle Nate.
that is my most absolute favorite. And
Favorite.
that's how I got my manager Jen to like Port Charlotte because she hates
There you
peanut
go.
whiskey. She goes, ah, I hate that peanut stuff. Tastes like crap. So I said I'm gonna make
More
sure
for
you like it.
you.
So I did. Yeah. Well, no. So for Thanksgiving Eve this last year, I said don't have breakfast. I'm gonna make us a pound and a half of thick cut maple bacon, and so I brought that in and I said, and this is the whiskey we're gonna have with it. So I said, but I don't have the whiskey first. Go ahead and take a bite, chew some bourbon first. I mean some bacon first, and then take a sip. And so she did. She was like very skeptical, and she's just like, "Oh crap, this is really nice." She went for 3 pours, so I knew my job
Oh,
was done.
hmm.
Um,
Good grief. Apparently, you did a Russell Reserve pick at your at the Brooklyn
yes,
store.
at the Brooklyn store, and that I'll be right back. I'm gonna get some water. So
Hmm?
the Russell's Reserve pick was so absolutely delicious, but because of all the barrel picks that I have in the store, it wasn't flashy, so it just sat there for the longest time, to the point where when I got my new store, I transferred 3 cases over, and it
Oh,
sold like that. It's absolutely delicious. I think Cliff has quite a few bottles,
I bet. If it's as good as people
so
seem
I'm
to be
actually
saying.
yeah, so I'm actually supposed to be on the list. And the account manager keeps trying to avoid me now because he promised me I was on the list, and I was like, "Hey, when am I gonna go get one of these?" So I'm trying to get them all lined up. So for my Electric Quake barrel, as soon as it sold out that night, I already contacted them and I said, "I need another barrel. I should have bought two." Don't have a date yet, but as soon as I have a date, I told him, I said, even if it's just literally a flight out just to go pick a barrel, I will do that in a heartbeat because while I'm there, I'll go pick a few more barrels. So
There you go. I know
max.
we were mentioning wild turkey. One of the
Hmm.
best moments in my recent memory when I went to Kentucky. The first time I went to Kentucky was in November officially, and
Hmm.
I zipped around and hit as many distilleries as I could just to go see them, not necessarily to do the tours or
Hmm.
tastings.
Hmm.
Most of them was like, I know I
Yep.
like this stuff. It was the hope of finding a bottle I could bring home, only to find out they don't really do
Hmm.
that. Like, oh, all right. I think it was one that did it. Kind of. It was Maker's Mark. I got
Hmm.
to dip my own bottle. So it's this one right
Ah,
here.
yep. Cool.
What was it? Toasted marshmallow, and that was
Ah.
delicious. But for most of the other places, they didn't have anything. But it's specifically when I
Mm.
met the brewbaker maker, as he's called in chat, at Wild Turkey.
Hmm.
We got there early in the morning. It was cold. That was my little touch of winter when I got there. Like, oh, hello,
Hmm.
yay. Huh. So it had been cold, everything had frosted over, and then the sun came up and the mist started to come up. And we were in the back of the Wild Turkey Distillery sipping on their 101 rye, looking at this amazing view they have back there. There's this giant bridge and there's this mist and this fog. And that's
Hmm.
that's one of the many moments, I should say, that sticks out as being at the Wild Turkey Distillery. And I already love Wild Turkey, so it was really great to have that experience.
Yeah, my previous trip out there, prior to when I got the store, I can't remember where did I go? I went to Four Roses. Yeah, so I'm supposed to be on the list for Four Roses barrel also,
Oh, give it. I
but
want it
whatever.
already.
Yeah,
They
doesn't
just
matter.
finished their
But so actually,
tasting
so
room.
yeah, so given the shortage of barrels out there, most of the smaller producers are having a lot of issues getting barrels. So I've decided that since they're small producers and they're always willing and able to work with me, I am going to reuse my barrels.
Nice.
So yeah, and then if I have my way, some of my barrels I'll be going to a maple syrup farm,
Oh man.
and I said, I'll loan you my barrels, and you, however long that you need to put your maple syrup in. When you're done, I need my barrels back. So then I think what I'm gonna do is probably work with Copper and Cask, because they have some really nice picks from uh, from MGP, and we're gonna do some fun things with it. So
Nice.
I'm very excited
I have
about
another
that.
question.
It's nice. Yep. Hmm.
David Geschke asks, which Napa? No, I can't see that. Napanock Castle is that? It's behind you somewhere.
No, no, yes, Nepal Castle. Yes. Yep.
Which one is it?
What was the question? It's a 12 year the Orchard Stroll. So
There you
this
go.
is my barrel pick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Okay,
QS01.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, I'd asked about another barrel this year. They haven't gotten back to me yet. So hopefully we can get another one.
James Morgan
Cause
says, Irene Tan, I've heard good things from the community. Good job. There you go. Of course, you're doing a good
thank
job.
you. Come visit.
Mr. Great Shot likes my memory of Wild Turkey.
Trying to look for my wild turkey bottle. I don't see one here.
I don't
Somewhere in
have
here,
any
I'm sure
Wild
there's
Turkey at the
one.
moment.
But
It feels a little weird.
uh,
I don't have any 101 or Rare Breed because I've finished both of those off not long ago. And I
there is
had
from a
this
while
distinct
ago.
feeling I don't need more bottles. It's horrible.
The Forgiven. That was pretty tasty.
Oh yeah, I had. When did
Yeah.
I have that?
The
I did
allig
a video on that. I know I
the
did.
alligator. Yeah, alligator char. Um, yeah, fun stuff. Then of course it's not Irish, but it's not quite St. Patrick's Day, so why not? My very first single barrel as Canterbury Liquors is the birthday barrel.
Nice.
That to this day is one of my favorite bourbons. Honestly, I've done a bunch of tastings of it next to birthday bourbon, which I haven't seen in years, and
That's
it's
a
okay.
weird squat
Mm.
bottle, right?
Hmm.
Birthday bourbon. Yeah, I've only had that once or twice, and of course, it's like, oh, it's my birthday. There's a birthday bourbon. I'll have that, and I'm sure that was their selling point. Other than people who really like the
Yeah, I
bottle
mean,
in general.
Yeah, so when I got my barrel of Widow Jane, uh,
Right, it is. Yeah,
this
that's the
doesn't
one.
feel like a tasting at my store. We start with one thing and we
Is
go
it?
to
I
many
hadn't
other things.
noticed.
Yeah, yeah, me neither. So
Speaking
this
of your
is
store, before I
shit.
forget this one, someone's asking, do
Yeah.
you he pours what words? Richie Z said, I poured some Foursquare, Brian. Does Irene carry Foursquare in her store?
You bet. It's actually I don't think it's gonna happen, but I asked the question anyway. Can I buy a Foursquare rum barrel? Haven't had the answer yet. It's gonna be very pricey, but it might happen. You never know.
Hopefully, cross our fingers.
Um, yeah, I don't know. And that for that will definitely be a trip to Barbados. If I were gonna do that, probably stop over at Plantation and then Mount Gay and um Foursquare. So if I have enough people that are interested in the Foursquare barrel, I'm more than happy to bring one in. Uh, I've asked a question already, and I'm waiting for somebody to get back to me. I need some prices and stuff like that. So they're pretty big barrels compared to bourbon barrels. Hmm.
I'm having so many questions of people asking, can you get stuff online or can it be shipped? It's like, no, I'm sorry. Or, I mean, the
Hmm.
best thing I can say is, well,
No.
I could get a bottle. After that,
Just plan your summer vacation like the rest of my customers. August in my Brooklyn store used to be a dead month because everyone on vacation and they didn't come to visit. But in the Canterbury store, I don't think I can ever leave the store on a Friday or Saturday in August because that's when everybody either is going from Maine down south or from Carolinas up north or from Pennsylvania wherever out west coming going up to Maine or going to Rhode Island or wherever and go, oh, honey, we have to stop, in this place called Canterbury. And so lots of people show up from there. So I'm doing side by side these two, which I did a while back.
there you go.
Hmm. Need a little bit more on this side. Believe that when I had it before, the proof is close enough.
I
This
gotta get
actually
used to chat
amazingly
jumping
still
now,
smells really,
Irene.
really
Good
good.
God.
What?
Normally my chat's pretty, steady, and I was like, come,
Mm-hmm.
come.
That's really good. And then we'll see about this one.
David Giske asks, "Hey Irene, can I buy the Macallan 80 years for $20? Cheers, otherwise we'll boycott your store."
Yeah, that's just crazy shit,
Uh,
I don't know. If you had 80 grand, man, that's so much good whiskey you could buy. You never have to buy whiskey again for a long time. Many,
right.
many bottles that you can buy that and share with friends. Is it necessary to have the 80 year? I mean, is it even really good? You know?
I don't
What if
know.
it's a hunk of
Texas
wood?
is questionable about that. It's like it's 80 years. What? I mean, what? I
Yeah.
don't know if I'd
I mean,
want.
it could be
Part of
very
me is like
good, but who
intrigued. Part of
knows?
me is like, is that even good anymore?
Oh, this would be a really fun blind tasting. It is really, really, really good. I'm very happy with my
Nice.
pick.
Mr. Greatshot says, "Looks like I'm planning a trip to visit Brian and Irene Tan."
Yeah.
The scary part is, I actually started looking at places people could stay near your area. It's like,
Uh-huh.
say, if anyone asks me, it's like, hey, I want to go to Irene's. Where can I stay? I'm like, well, I know of these places that are nearby. It's not really near Rhode Island, so you couldn't necessarily visit Moi, but really, it's to visit your store, try a bunch of stuff, then take as many bottles as possible back.
Something like that. Yeah. I know. I mean, there's really nothing, no real good hotels or maybe there is a B&B somewhere. I should probably look into it, especially for my
Who's the
event, because
other
people do
who's
come
the
from
other
different.
noisy individual who's with you? I keep hearing a meow in the background. I'm curious.
Ah, yeah. He's my three-legged boy. He was featured in one of my
Oh,
videos for the advent calendar. He's
I remember
three-legged.
that.
He's actually he's pretty ill actually. He's
Oh,
got
that's
a
lovely.
melanoma. He's got a whole bunch of things going on with him, but he has lived at least 49 out of his 9 lives. And he gets human grade salmon right now. His can of food
Nice.
every day costs me about $8, but there's enough DHA
Worth
in
it.
it to hopefully kill some of those tumor cells. So I'm like, yep. Because if I were to take him to Tufts, it'd be opening bid would be 10 grand, and they probably can't fix him anyway. Because he's
Mm.
13, no, he's 14 years old now. He's got heart issues, got a bunch of things wrong with him, but he's happy as can be. And so I did some research, and I found that DHA omega-3 in particular is a poison to most tumors. And I have to say, he's been doing this for 3 months now because he's been taking off 10 days at a time. Uh, and the sitter, takes care of him. And so far, so good. He looks exactly the same as 10 days before I left. And he's happy eating his. So I opened a can for him, and one of the cans is mine, and one of the cans is his. And it's all good. But anyway,
There you go.
and
I
he doesn't
mean,
hop up here too
what
often.
cat is going to complain about getting salmon all the time?
Yeah, it's wild caught sockeye salmon from Alaska. From Vital Choice, one of my favorite places to buy fish from. But this 3 bottles here, and Cliff will probably recognize. This
Uh-oh.
is my next. I haven't had a chance to do it yet. These are 3 different ryes. The Atlas barrel will be 5 years old in July this year. Uh, MGP rye 95.5. Boston Harbor Distillery. Love this for just what it is. I don't even have to blend this, but I promised them I would try not to use all their super good stuff. So I have a sample 3.5 years old in a cherry brandy cask, and then this is a Blackwater cask, which adds a little kind of a mint note to it. Haven't found a combo that I like yet, but when I do, they're gonna make that blend for me, and that will be QS3 from Putnam Rye, which should be hopefully pretty nice. It won't be a single barrel; it will be a blend. Um, so that's one of the next projects. Um, yeah, fun stuff. Ooh,
So
and
much
so I
whiskey,
get
so little
to taste
time.
some of the. Yeah, tell me about it. I should do it more full time than part time, but it's all good.
Still got plenty of time. No rush.
Mm. So so I just found this. This was January 19th of 2017. This is the barrel. I haven't named it yet because this copper and cask barrel that I picked, a bourbon high rye, call it high rye. It's more like medium rye bourbon. And that
Let's
is gonna
call it
sit
that.
there
Mess with
because
people.
I
It's like
brought
this is
home.
medium rye bourbon. That's what we're calling the bottling. It just seemed like a good idea at the
um
time.
Yeah, so today I brought home a sample from them that from the same barrel, but now it's 4 months later, 5 months later. I haven't tasted them side by side yet. That might be a tomorrow's Thursday, tomorrow's a work day, maybe a Saturday morning project. We'll
Hmm.
taste it and see how different they are, and then hopefully get a taste of it having sat in the rum barrel for at least a month. And I'll probably name it then. So that barrel should show up. I'm hoping it'll show up before the Providence Zoo tasting event. So
That'd be good. You can give a little sneak peek.
yeah, yeah. And then as far as the charity event this year, the Unicorn event, it's going to be September 17th, I think was the date I picked. We got shitty allocation of Pappy this year, but at this point I'm going, who cares?
Ooh.
He
Yeah.
would have got 115. We got 2 Stack Juniors. Maybe we got like what else do we got? No Willem LaRue. Uh, Not much else. Don't really care. There's so much
Yeah.
other good whiskey out there.
Yeah. The
And Scotch
allocated
wise,
stuff
there's gonna
is
be
nice,
some
but
fun stuff.
I don't chase it
Yeah.
at all. Thankfully. I have a
Mm.
question from Thok. Does Boston Harbor Distilleries distill their own or source it? Live so close. I'm hating I haven't gone there for a visit.
MGP. They source some MGP. The rye,
GP
the
is everywhere.
single malt, they actually make their own. They are. It's changing a little bit, the MGP stuff, I think. We'll see.
You
I'll
will
reserve
say.
judgment.
No,
Yeah.
Bourbon's
But
asking
pretty exciting stuff.
about the event
Huh?
this year, the charity event of
Uh-huh.
your place. Is it going to be run a little differently?
Yep.
Because last year was.
hmm Exactly. Yeah, no, we're gonna do it differently. weather permitting, regardless, I'm going to buy a few more tents. We're actually going to move the event outside. The barrel picks are still going to be indoors, and people can still come in and taste them. So I think it will spread the crowd out a little bit better rather than having everything in the same place.
Yeah, and that was the
And we
weirdest
won't
part
hand
about
out.
it. Was I like me and a few
Mhm.
other people were in the back. It's like, well, this is fine back here, but indoors, everyone was just like, the kid go through. There's more room
Yeah.
in the back, please.
Oh, because some people would just kind of you're supposed to get the pour and then go outside. See,
And they
previously,
just didn't.
previous in they didn't because it was never this big before, right? When
No,
we
it
did it
wasn't. That
before,
was
people would come and we would have a conversation and be like, what order should we taste in? And it was more kind of a little more one-on-one with me, but it just got larger than life, and it will not be any bigger.
yeah,
I'm going
it's
to
the same
cap it at the
place.
180.
I know.
Yeah,
I can vouch
exactly.
for that. I remember the first, what was it, the first couple of years you started, and I went there for that, or one of them at least. Like not including
Hmm.
the beginning one, the Whiskey Vault
Hmm.
Tribe Rex and Daniel thing.
Yep.
It was intimate, and it was friendly, and it was nice, and that was before your
Yeah.
store was even open. But then the next year got
Yep.
bigger, and the next year got a lot bigger, or not the next year, the
Hmm.
year
Yeah.
after that, because there was one that was skipped,
Yeah.
which just kind
Yep.
of
Yeah.
exploded in a good
Well, we
way, but
skipped.
also
Yeah.
in a how the hell do we deal with this now
Good and
way.
bad. Mm.
David
Yeah.
Giskey's
No, we're
asking, what's
definitely
the most
gonna.
expensive bottle you carry, Irene? As in the bottle that you're waiting on a Russian
Uh.
oligarch, Slava Ukraine, to enter your store for.
um. Right now, I think probably the most expensive bottle in my store right now is probably my Rosebank. Rosebank 30 year. It's about, I can't remember. It's 3 or 4 grand. Um. I don't know what the Macallan prices are, they are what they are. I mean, we had 30 there, 30 year there for a while. I think the 25 might have gone up past 4,000 now or whatever. I just keep it to whatever the min I can legally sell it for, because I'm not one to, jump on the bandwagon and go, oh, look what I can sell it for now. I mean, obviously I didn't pay that much for it when I bought it, but the price keeps going up, and they keep having a min bottle price, which is it's double-edged sword. I mean, it's good for the small store, small stores in Connecticut because it kind
Mm-hmm.
of protects you. Because if you can sell it for what you buy it for, which I've seen other stores do, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm not quite sure, why or how you're doing that.
Yeah, so what are you
But I
doing?
mean, we all need to make a living, right? Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. So
Another question from, a question from Richie Z. What's the realistic markup on those pappies? I know those are the ones you usually do for charity, but in general,
yeah.
I think a lot of people are curious. I know
So
it's state to state and all that, but
yep. So we actually sell, if we had bottles to sell, which previous years we did, we sell it for wherever the suggested retail is, and maybe $5, $10 more, and that's it. We don't sell for anything more than that. But every other store and that I've seen, they mark it up. Like I was down in Florida, and literally 3 or 4 stores that I went to, the top shelves just filled with uh, all the E.H. Taylor, variations, the 4 grain and the whatever warehouse crap, the Pappy 12, 15, 23, and ridiculous prices. I'm looking at it going, man, I hope you've got good insurance because you have good stock of it up there, which you're never going to move at those prices. So I would say it marked up probably 20, 30, 40 times more
that's
because
what
they
I've
can, because
seen. Just with the
somebody will come
Blantons.
in and buy it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
someone
mean,
will.
Blanton should be
They'll
like
see
a,
the fancy bottle,
yeah.
and they'll be like, "Yay, that's
Hmm.
fancy. Here's money." Wow.
Yeah.
We do have a question from
And then
Stacey
they
H
won't
again.
open it.
Yeah, then they went
Hmm.
over it. Has Irene encountered a Middleton Silent Distillery? Question mark 43K.
Nope. No.
Jesus.
I sometimes I kind of try to avoid the kind of the super expensive, super rare stuff because most of us
Bottle
can't afford them,
chasings.
right?
Yeah, well, definitely.
Yeah, and it's kind of, yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I ever get, invited to an event to taste one of those, if well, now I'm pretty good at it. I always bring a sample bottle with me because I always want to be able to share it with someone else. And
Hmm.
most times I share it with my manager, so that she can get a chance to say that she tasted it. Like when I go to a whiskey festival, people go, "Oh, you know, I never have a chance to even taste too much because one, if it's New York City, even though I take the train, I still need to drive home. It's a long night.
Yeah.
And my thing is, I just need to taste whiskeys that I haven't tasted. I go there more for networking than anything else, and just kind of, seeing who's doing what's new out there. The last whiskey fest I went to in New York, I brought 3 sample bottles because I already kind of looked at the program and I said, these are the 3 whiskeys I haven't tasted. I want to taste them and make sure that they're worth buying if I can get them in Connecticut. So one was a Gordon and MacPhail 39-year-old Glenlivet. The second
Oof.
one was the Michter's 20-year, which I haven't had. They keep promising me I'll get one day. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And the third one was the Parker Heritage from last year. So I went up and got my sample in my glass. Always bring your own glass, at least 2 of them, one for Peter and one for everybody else. As
Mm.
soon as they gave me the pour, I took it away, poured it in my little sample bottles. Do I have one here? The tiniest little bottle. Yeah, like about this size, right? And then you bring it home because I don't taste it there. One, because you're going to taste a whole bunch of other stuff. You won't truly appreciate it. And it's the end of the day. You had to eat some food before you went there, so you can have some whiskey. So I brought all 3 samples home with me, and the next day, Jen and I got a chance to taste it. So I didn't kind of tell her what it was. I said, "Yeah, I brought some fun stuff back from
Try
Whiskey
this.
Fest for us to try." Yeah, so we tried it, and she goes, "Oh, this is pretty good." I go, "Yeah, that's the Mic 20." And I said, "Is it worth $1,500?" Nah, it's really good, but not with 15. But now we can say we've had it. The
Yeah.
Glenlivet, however, was fantastic. I was like, "Wow!" And this guy did order it. I hadn't shown up yet.
Ooh.
Can't remember what it costs now anymore. But
Don't think
that would
about
be a nice one.
it. Whatever it was, don't think
Yeah,
about it. I have
yeah.
more questions
And
rolling
as I'm
in.
looking at this, yeah, sure.
We have Cliff. Is that Highland Park 1979 in the running for the most expensive bottle in the store? Question mark.
Yes, it is. And
Yes, it
funny you
is.
asked about Highland Park, 'cause I'm looking at this. This is Highland Park, 31 years old, 47.1 percent. Hey, next time you come visit, I'll have to bring this in. This
There
is
you go.
the perfect fifth. This is a young company that started. They have a lot of money, obviously. They're going
Uh
after the super
huh.
high end, really cool packaging. And they came to me because they figured I might be the only one that'd be interested in buying. And I went actually to the when they launched their brand in New York City. What's his face? The Whiskey Bible guy was there doing the tasting, and obviously he got enough good whiskey that he rated all this stuff, super, close to 100 point or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but this was expensive. This was like a $3,500 bottle what I had to sell it for. And honestly, what did I bring? I brought my Helen Park 25 signatory cask, and I did a side by side. And then I brought a sample of mine over to Jim, and I go, "Here, taste that." He goes, "Did you like the Highland Park, blah, blah?" I go, "Yeah, it was very good." I said, "But here, taste this," which I only
I
paid
got one better.
$250 for. I s- yeah, I go, "This is also Highland Park. What do you think?" He goes, "Oh, this is quite nice." I'm like, "Of course it's quite nice. How many bottles of it, if I could still get it, I can buy versus your, 3,000 whatever." But
Yeah.
yeah, and they had a Cameron Bridge. They had some pretty interesting stuff. I don't know, I'll have to dig a few more of these out. I'm not sure what
I
this
have
one
another
is.
question from Mr.
But anyway,
Greatshot. What's the bottle that
hmm,
Irene thinks is not on anyone's radar?
hmm, can I
That's a
talk
tough
about it?
one. I don't know.
Yeah, let me see.
Thousands are tuning in here, Irene.
Hmm.
What can you say?
Yeah, I can't say anything.
The
I don't
stuff
know
is
yet.
coming up.
Maybe.
Stuff is happening.
Hmm.
Another question
I mean,
to gloss over that one.
yep.
Any hints on Irene's new Starlight Barrel for 2022?
Starlight Barrel, that's coming is going to be, if they can find the cask, which they promised me they would, it's going to be a rye finish in Amburana cask.
Ooh,
That's it,
that sounds
Brazilian
fancy.
oak. Yeah. And well, so my Whistle Pick 12 year, technically 13 and a half year, that sold out in a month. That was basically baby Boss Hog for that year.
Hmm.
Was finished in Umbrella Cast. So um, actually, I asked the guys today at Copper and Cast. I said, "Hey, can you get some Brazilian cast?" Yeah, we don't know about that, but how about this Armagnac cask? I'm like, yeah, okay, well, I'll take your Armagnac cask. Um, Fun stuff. But one of the things I actually have found, at least in a lot of tastings, is that rye does much better being finished in some of the more kind of exotic casks as opposed to bourbon. Bourbon seems to something about the sweetness in the corn. I think cognac cask it does okay. Armagnac cask doesn't do so good. Sherry cask can be good or bad. Usually, it's better if it's blended with one that's finished in the bourbon cask. So,
Yeah,
but
rye is pretty
that's just
spiky.
from my experience. What's that? Rye?
Rye
Yeah,
is pretty
exactly.
spiky, so
Spiky and
everything
it's
else will just mellow it out a little bit, which I do like. I don't like being
hmm
attacked by the rye all the time. That's why I said the Alberta Premium was pretty intense. It's good, but you better, brace
it's
yourself
good.
when you're
Yeah.
drinking it.
Yeah.
What else? We got
Yep.
another question
Well,
hanging
so not
AZ. What is Irene's top underrated bourbon pick?
so hopefully if it becomes true, I would say the Wheelhorse bourbon, the new stuff that they're putting together. And the only reason I'm saying that is because prior to today, I was like, it's really not worth it. But it's also
Hmm,
only a $30 bottle.
it is.
I tasted one from a single cask that was very, very nice. So for under $30, you can get a really nice bourbon. Also, I would say probably the Evan Williams Ball and Bond for $20 is
Yep.
just a really good bourbon, right? I'll drink it all day long over Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
Way more
Yeah.
flavor.
I felt the same way. That
Um,
was one I bought quite often for a
yeah,
while. Here's another
yep.
question from Lady
And
Geschke.
also,
So what's
yep.
the
hmm
cheapest full size bottle in the store then? Some Canadian whiskey liqueur or liquor? Is that
hmm
liquor?
The small, say the
The
question again?
cheapest full the well, so what's the cheapest full sized bottle in the store then? Like what's one of your cheaper whiskeys that people could get?
Any particular category?
Just one that you would recommend, I think. Like one that you'd be like, yeah, it's not like we just said the Evan Williams bottle of Bond. I would agree with that one
hmm
being on there.
Yep, the Ball and Bond would be good. So actually, the Rough Rider bourbon is actually pretty good for, I think it's like $30 also. That's pretty decent from Long Island. Easy sipping stuff. What else? I'm trying to think. What else is on that shelf that is inexpensive? That's good. There was another one from Texas. 60 something. I can't remember. It's some because I haven't been tasting it with people, but that's a 90 proof bourbon. That's pretty decent.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I have a question
hmm.
from Uncle Nate. It's a curveball, I think. Underrated bottle, Kilchoman Loch Garam discuss. LOL.
Love the Lagorn. That's an annual release. Sherry cask, matured or finished. I don't know. I have a bottle here
One or the other.
to confirm that. Yeah. But yeah. So I love Kilhoman. Actually, speaking of Kilhoman, nice segue.
Speaking of,
There's only. Hey, I forgot about that. Maybe I do have enough barrels for this year.
yeah.
The kind of last minute, I said, "Hey, I'm going to be in Isla for a week before I start school at Springbank. Can you arrange for maybe a barrel selection at Kilhoman?" They go, "Well, they've been kind of shutting down the program a little bit because it's just supply and demand thing, but they only
Mm,
release three single casks to the U.S. a year."
did?
And somebody was able yeah, somebody was able to do some arm twisting, and apparently there's a single barrel sample that's coming to me
Oh
to
shit.
pick. So I said, if
Ooh.
I don't like it, uh, when I'm there, can I pick one for next year? Because I don't need a barrel for this year. I never need a barrel.
No,
I just want them.
I think you have enough, but
So yeah. But if it's good, I will definitely. So if I do pick it, it will be one of only three barrels released to the U.S. So that's pretty
yes.
special.
All
Very
right,
excited
everyone,
about
don't
that.
tell.
Yeah.
Just keep
So
this between all of us. Don't tell anyone else.
it doesn't
We do.
matter. I mean, I mean, yeah.
Oh, we do have another question from Stacey H. What's Irene drinking for St. Patrick's Day tomorrow? That's a tough one. That's one of those like, does it? I mean, whatever. I have so many, all of them, really.
All of them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I'll
It's like
probably
I got.
actually, you know what? I probably want to. Actually, I'm probably actually going. I've never done a blind of all the spots, so I might actually
Ooh,
do
that'd be a
that
good one.
tomorrow. Yeah, it's a school night, but I'll have to wait till after because probably after 7. I think I want to do a blind of all of what I have and then see if I can find a bottle of the Montelena because then that will be all of the spots that I have available. So yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be drinking.
Nice. Ooh, cast drink killed showman. Count me in. Cliff Smith says. Well, yes, definitely.
Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Oh, you know what showed up today is the I'll be back. I'll bring some.
I'm so trying to catch up
Yeah,
to
yeah,
chat.
yeah. Stop crying.
All they said at Kill Showman was, "This is Irene Tan's. We are talking about. Get her some samples." Yes, right, Cliff Smith. I agree.
Uh, So
Oh,
let's
you.
see.
Richie Z says, "I've seen that Rosebank 30 at one store in the Bay Area for ripes."
hmm So this is Paul John. Hate the Nirvana. It's terrible. It's not Nirvana at all. It's the opposite of Nirvana. But this, I actually brought some bottles in, so I may be doing this for my charity event this year because this is
Mm.
somewhat limited. I think I got 6 of all the available bottles in Connecticut.
Oh,
And while I was at it, they go, "Hey, we have a Christmas edition too." So I got 6 of the
of
Christmas
course they
edition
do.
also. Haven't tasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't tasted them yet, but I think I'm gonna save them for the charity event. Unless somebody buys a few before then, who knows?
Who knows?
But I think it's gonna be pretty special. I was talking to a customer about it, and they're like, "Oh man, that's really good stuff." I go, "Well, we'll be probably opening it for the charity event."
It's
So
like, yes,
I
it
think this
is.
year will
Yes.
be yeah, it'll be some new and fun different things. So
Yeah, gotta
um,
herd people. Gotta learn how to herd people better. I mean, that's I don't know how to do that. Just come on through. Got your drink. Move on. Come on. I will have to say this,
so
Irene.
I'm spelling it.
We have about 3 minutes till 9 o'clock. I'm certainly fine with keep going,
Okay.
but I need to let you know because you've already gone so much longer than I normally would, and I'm happy with that. We could do this for hours, but
Holy
I want to
shit!
make
Wow.
sure that I want to make sure that you have your own schedule
Yeah.
set. Yeah, because
Yeah. No, it's
again,
good. I mean,
thank
I'm
it's
technically
been
still on
wonderful.
vacation, so
Yes, this has been wonderful, but I want to make sure that you don't have other things to do.
yeah, just gotta go get ready for work tomorrow. That's all.
Okay,
But
just
that can. That.
it's
Hey,
fine.
guys,
Have
cut it out.
another.
Jeez. Hey, Max, come say hi. Come on, come say hi. I know you won't last long up here. This is Max. This is my
Ugh,
three-legged boy.
Max.
Hey, what's
Oh, his
up?
name is Max. Good God.
His
My
name
cat's name was
his name is
Max, and
Maximilian. Yeah.
Maximilian. Mine was
Well,
just
it's
Max
short
with
for
two X's.
Maximilian. Yeah. Maximilian for what it cost me to adopt him. We found him in a dumpster, and hey, where's your collar? Yeah, dang, whoever stole your
How'd you
collar?
get that off?
Uh, yeah. So yeah, this is Maximilian because he cost me a bit to get him when we rescued him.
Mm-hmm.
He actually I brought him to the vet to kind of see if they might put him out of his misery, but they go, we
Yeah,
can clean him up a little bit. He was all of 5 pounds, and a week later, a bunch of chicken liver and sardines, and he's healthy as can be.
there you
So
go.
14 years later, he's still here with us.
Nice.
Yeah, but you stink
I
though.
had my
Hmm.
cat was named
Yeah.
Max, but he had I just called him Max with two X's. It's a reference to a comic book.
Uh-huh.
But that he
Ah.
passed away in 2019, as you might know already. I think I mentioned that at one point. That was brutal.
Yep. Yeah.
Th- This one's this
No, I've
is.
had
So hopefully he's got a
enough
while more for
losses with
you.
him. I hope so. Well, he goes, hey, keep feeding me, your salmon.
Yeah,
I'll live
I
forever.
love the tail. I love his
Yeah.
little tail.
Oh, his tail used to be this long, and it was dead when we found him. So they chopped it off, and I said, "Can you leave him a little stub so he can still wag his tail when he's
Mm,
happy?" And they had to take all of his left leg off because we can't do a prosthetic because he would just be he just be jumping on all the time, which he does, and it was the fastest cat we had for the longest time. But this poor boy, he's deaf, he's no teeth on his left side, but it's all good, right?
Hmm. As long as they're
Yeah,
happy, you know.
life is good, isn't it, Max? Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
he's
where
he's a pretty
is
happy
my
boy.
salmon? That's
Oh, you already ate your salmon. Forget about it. But
no
anyway,
more. Give it to me.
yeah, no, I won't keep anybody, but I'm
Oh,
glad
you're not
we
keeping
got a
anyone.
good
This
crowd
is
tonight.
probably the most people we've had for the longest amount of time. So they're definitely pleased that you are here. I don't
Oh,
think
that's
anyone is
good.
like,
Well, we'll do
oh,
this again
we gotta wrap
sometime.
this up. It's like, oh no one wants to wrap this up. I just don't want you to be here all night.
Well, any other? Yeah, no. Any other whiskey? Anybody has any questions about?
Last call, folks. Do you have questions? Do it now. I know she can't send you bottles. We're working on something.
Yeah, no, kids any
Uh,
bottles.
yeah, that's why
Ooh,
I'm so happy to do
huge.
giveaways in the future. It's like I can get your bottles, and if people are interested, well, come on
Hmm.
over to my channel. There's ways to get a bottle, and then I'll hand deliver them to you.
This is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, other people send bottles as olive oil and whatever else. I just can't risk my license, so
that's right. You have to
they're
be
mules.
completely
I think
separate from it.
exactly. So there's definitely ways that people from other state and make friends with other people in their state and figure out how a way to get bottles to them.
That is a good point, Bourbon. She will hold paid bottles. So if I think I have
Yes.
enough credit where if there was someone who wanted a bottle, and I'm not saying I would do it, I'm saying it's an option where I could get it for you and get it to you via options that I have that Irene doesn't. But don't quote me on that because God, hand deliveries are not an easy thing, to say the very least.
Yeah. Mhm. So yeah, so if when I announce a barrel release and I like okay, it's ready for sale and call if you want a bottle, literally I mean call and just keep calling because I know when I did that with the Elijah Craig when our phone blew up
Mm-hmm.
for a few hours there,
Mm.
some people couldn't get through and stuff. But if you
Yeah.
once you have paid for your bottles, they're there until if you don't pick it up for a year or so, I might get really thirsty and decide to drink one. But
Mm.
no, but once because people reach me from all different channels, from Instagram, Facebook. They text me, they email me. And when we didn't have that many barrels and that many people, it's pretty easy to keep track of. But at this point, I'm like, it's really tough for me to say, oh yeah, I'll hold a bottle for you. I mean, except
Yeah.
for a few people that come see me all the time, I just know they want them, so I just set them aside for them. But for everybody else, it's like you got to pay for it so that now we have a record of that you have a bottle with your name on it, and we'll just hold them. In fact, I think we only have 12 bottles of Elijah Craig not picked up at this point. Somebody
Yeah.
had called and paid, for the six, and then had a friend call and pay for their six, and they're still sitting there. But
I know how much those cost too.
yeah,
That is not a cheap buy right there. I'm sure they're
it
amazing.
isn't. But
I still have mine.
yeah, totally worth it. Yeah. Have you
Oh,
opened
and
yours yet?
what was it? Oh, a joke here. Hanging AZ. Any plans to open a store in AZ, Miss Tan? No, probably not.
No,
I mean, things could change, but
no, not even.
this
No,
is a
not anywhere
retirement
else in
plan.
Canada. So the whole thing of it is, it is. So the whole thing of it is that there's only one of me. There's only one of Jen. So I have a really good team right now working for me, and so it's not about if you know me well, it's not about the quantity and the volume of what I can do. It's more about the quality of what I can do, right?
Yeah,
I'd rather have, you know, 500 amazing customers than, 5,000 so-so customers.
yeah. You don't even have a
Because
web
it's
page,
way more
right? You don't
fun
have
when you.
any way to browse
I
or
don't have a
anything because that
web
would be too much
page.
chaos.
No, there's nothing to browse because whatever I have that if you see me if it's interesting, it's fun, and I think people should know about it, I put it out there. Just call the store, pay for it, and it's all good. It's way less work for me because don't forget, it's still my retirement hobby. But I think
Hmm.
even if I'm retired, even though I'm in the IT business, there will still not be a website. It's just too much work to maintain, right?
No,
So
no, it
I
is. It
don't
really is.
use
I don't
yeah.
know anything about web
It's
pages or
thank God.
websites, but I know it's a pain.
Yeah,
Bourbon
it is a
says, can
pain.
she
I
mention
mean
some newer
I've done them.
barrels we might not have heard about that she's got in, like some recent stuff that people don't know about? I mean,
So what has shown up recently? Oh crap. Oh, actually, there's another barrel. I don't remember. I'm not sure what happened to it. It got bottled a while ago. It is my second Devil's River barrel. So wow, that's a while ago. I gotta find out what happened to that barrel. It's supposed to have shown up already from San
Sudden
Antonio.
realization is like, wait a minute. God damn it.
Yeah, damn, and that's really delicious because I'm looking at it, and this was um, barrel 169, which I took home and I thought I wanted it, but I didn't. I ended up buying the first barrel instead. Oh, but this smells really good. Wait, this might be my barrel. I can't remember the barrel number, but this
Wait
smells
a second.
really good, kind of like maple syrupy. Wow, that's nice. Mmm, mmm. And talk about terroir. I mean, this is only 2.5 years old, and look at the color, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's San Antonio. It's not as hot as in high Texas, but that is absolutely delicious. I like that one. That's good.
Bourbon's
Hopefully that
mentioning
was
something
my
called
barrel pick.
candy cane. There's when you had the candy cane name
Mm-hmm.
somehow.
Yep. So Candy Cane was the first barrel pick, and this one, I don't remember the name of it anymore. I gotta go look at my notes because 20
Can't remember
barrels I can
everything,
remember,
Irene.
30 barrels I can remember,
Yeah.
60 barrels a little hard to remember. So that one's coming, and April 1st, if anyone's around the area, Greg Metz from Master Distiller at Old Elk, and 40 years experience in the business, spent a lot of time. He makes a lot of the MGP stuff that you guys are tasting out there. When I went out there, he's like, "Oh yeah, Greg will come." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and he is. When my barrel lands, and I already know that it's in the vicinity, so we're picking a date for him to come, and April 1st he'll actually be out here. I don't know what other stores he's going to. I don't really care, but he's coming to launch my barrel with me. So definitely, if you want, I don't know what the yield is on the barrel either. But if you want a bottle signed by him, definitely call ahead, pay for it, and then he'll definitely do that. I'm not gonna make him sign the entire barrel. That's just silly. But he'll
Let's
sign
go
whatever
on. Hurry
bottles
up.
are
Give it.
there.
Take the pen. Let's
Ve
go. Meow.
yeah, very nice guy. He's so down to earth, and very really humble kind of person. Knows what he knows what he doesn't know. He goes, look, I don't pick up the notes that you're picking up, your banana notes, whatever. He goes, I know how to pick
Yeah.
up faults in the fermentation process, but I go, hey, you do what you do best, and I try and do what I do best to help sell your stuff. But really
Yeah.
nice guy. So he's coming out to do that. So that's a barrel that's coming soon. I picked two barrels from them.
Nice.
And what else? Obviously, the rum barrel won't come till November. Then there's the Scotch barrel, and what else? Yeah, I think there's at least another 7 or 8 barrels new that I've just picked. But it looks like I got another call while I was away from one of the distributors, managers, and he's like, "Hey," I go, "Yes." He goes, let's talk whiskey barrel program." I'm like, "I already buy tons from you guys." He goes, "But let's talk whiskey barrel program." I have no idea what he has in stock. Maybe there's something new. One of the things that you probably won't find in my store unless I have a crowd for it is a tequila barrel. Yes. I don't have the Crawford tequila, so I'm not gonna go buy a barrel of it unless I find something that's
Mm-hmm.
fantastic that I can get behind. I'll sip on tequila here and there. I definitely will get behind a rum barrel, but tequila is kind of out there. But I remember years ago they said, "Hey, tequila is gonna be the next hottest thing." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's not. Not yet,
Sure.
anyway." But yeah,
Yeah.
you don't agree either, or maybe you do
No.
agree. Yeah. Oh man, you got yeah, you were need to get cleaned up here. So, anyway.
I'll let you get
Hmm.
to that,
Wow, that is
Irene.
really nice.
We should
Hmm.
wrap things up. I
Yes.
don't. Again, I have plenty of time, but you have a lot to do, and I know you want to relax a little while. You did just like land today back in the area,
Yeah,
so I think you want to decompress a little. We've had a lovely time here, though. This has been great.
yeah,
I'm
that's
very
good.
pleased that
No,
you got
good
to
good
visit.
questions, and yeah, definitely. Well, hopefully see whoever's on here at the store at some point in
Oh,
time.
I'm
But
sure
as you
you will.
always
I'm
know,
sure
just
a
make
lot of
sure
people
you
have been here are from your place because there was a lot more people here than
yeah.
usual. That was a surprise.
Yeah, just make sure you call before you come, or hit me up on social media, because I've got a bit of travel planned in the very near
Yes,
future, so I'm gonna
yes.
make sure I'm there for
I
you guys.
constantly I
Um,
constantly tell people if you're going to visit Irene Tan's store, call first and make sure you know she's going to be there because you do have a lot of other things going
yeah,
on. So there's no guarantee.
Yeah, because somebody showed up today from LA because they had heard
No.
about me, and I was like, oh crap, I was away, I couldn't really help them, but my staff is really good at giving out my business cards. They're like, here, just contact her, so I'll just random calls or text from people, but it's all good.
Mhm.
As long as I'm awake, I'll answer your text. So, but great chatting with you, Brian.
Yes.
Have a good, happy and merry St. Patrick's Day,
Yeah. Plenty of Irish
and I'll
whiskey
see you in
out
the
there,
store.
folks.
Yeah,
Soon. I'll be there
definitely.
soon. I do have a bottle to pick up, so I will get there not too long. And I know I'll be there for the April event, if nothing else. All right,
Yes, yeah,
Irene,
definitely. Yeah, that'll
let's
be a
raise a
fun one.
glass. Let's raise a glass to everyone to
A little whiskey left, but
nice. As I usually say, I'm sure you don't know this one, but I usually say, live long and prosper. Don't forget to be awesome. And I will see all of you in one way, shape, or form, hopefully, out there. So cheers.
cheers.